Alright, one more time, can you guys hear us online?
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, we can hear you, we're just gonna have to listen closely.
I don't know if we can.
Yeah, it's hard to hear
Better?
you too, so.
That's bad. Maybe we'll throw this on the table and see. We'll see if that helps.
Yeah, that's better.
That's as high as I can get them. I can't get them any louder. We've had so much trouble with these rooms. Let me just look and see. Talk again online?
Say that again?
Much better. There we go.
Yeah, very clear.
The voice from above. Alright, we got 6 participants. We need to admit David still. Glenn here. Alright, so let's kick it off. Call the meeting to order at 6:02. Motion to approve the minutes from August 14th, 2025.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Kevin, Ed, any discussion on them?
Yeah, just one change.
Good.
It said unanimous. I abstained because it was my first meeting, so it should show that I abstained.
From the minutes, approval of the minutes from July?
Yeah.
Okay. And abstention. Any other discussion? All those in favor as amended?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, let's, old business is next, before we go over to Silver and Petrosello, let's just do B first. So bills and invoices, so there are 2 bills and invoices here. One is for the current design development phase we're in. So, it's invoice number 252464 dated 09/1/25 in the amount of $55,883.75. Any, motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion.
Kevin?
Second.
Ed, second. Discussion? So this is, we have $223,535 in that. Prior was billed out was 11,000, so this shows out of that 223 for design development, this is 67,000, so sort of about a quarter of it or so, a little more. Is that a line, Eric? It seems to align with where you guys are in the amount of work. You're in probably a little less, you probably have another billing after this based on the documents you sent yesterday.
Pretty close, I would think, yeah.
Yeah, the billing always lags a little.
Yeah, okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Second bill in front of you is, it's a bill for $800 from Underground Survey LLC. It's invoice number 091925-1 dated 9/18/25. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Ed,
Second.
Kevin. So, just a little background on this. So we did do call before you dig, at the site, but they're getting ready to do the borings next week.
Yeah.
And there is some lack of confidence, I'll call it, right, in the call before you dig surveys, as well as conflicting information between our underground utilities, sewerage, the stuff that feeds into Oak Grove behind us.
Yeah.
This was an $800 insurance policy to ensure we don't drill through something. So these guys are actually coming out tomorrow to complete the work. They will be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I would ask we approve this to be paid, well, it's getting paid on the credit card, but to pending the completion of the work tomorrow. So, any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. All right, we are off on Silver Petroselli's discussion. Before we go, just to introduce Brad. So Brad is in the room. Brad has submitted an application, which we will discuss under new business, or other business, I should say, to join the committee. So, welcome.
If we've got
Yeah, so,
Who's on the call? Is it,
It's all your folks, Rick,
you see Rick, Will, and.
Will and David.
And Dave's on, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, I should say. How are you?
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Aaron, take it away. You take it away.
All right.
What's up with this meeting?
So, yeah, so far in the documentation process, things have been going pretty smoothly. Nothing really major has jumped out at us so far. We've just been kind of chugging away, coordinating. With Bob and I today, we had invited Will Walter, who was representing Banesh, the civil side of things from last meeting, and Rick, who is part of RJS, who is handling the food service component. So I invited them here today to kind of speak to the civil design so far and the food service design. Essentially, they're looking for, I guess I'd call it pre-approval before they go off and start really developing things any further. Will, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure you're probably looking for the committee's approval before we start reviewing with the town planner.
Yeah, that's right. And Eric, there's some additional information. First of all, can you guys all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Crystal clear.
You're loud and clear.
All right, good. So Eric, I sent you the plans yesterday. If you don't mind, if I can share my screen.
Yeah,
and,
you
kind
could,
of
but
walk through-
it's not necessarily working well in the room.
Will, everybody's got paper in front of them too, so we can follow along if necessary.
Yeah, I printed out the most recent site plan for them. One of the.
Okay, that's fine. So if we look at any of the site plans, basically what we've done is we've moved the front of the new firehouse about 13 feet closer to the road. And we've done that so that we could provide a significant amount of blacktop on the backside, with the thought that you might want to have your fire trucks back there, possibly to wash them outside, to, whatever you gotta do with them back there. So that was our thought in moving the building forward, and you can all see that in the plan.
Yep.
How we moved it forward. Now, obviously, as you all know, there's a slope, about a 9.5% slope on the Page West side, which is north, from the existing building down to the sidewalk that's crossing across there. All right. So to maintain that grade and not make it steeper, we lowered the finished floor elevation of the new building about 2.5 feet from what it is right now, so we can maintain that slope and not make it worse. So horizontally, it's a good idea. I think you'd probably rather have more blacktop in the back to do what you want with your vehicles, as opposed to the front. I mean, the front is really only going to be used for the trucks coming out and getting onto the roadway and going to fires.
And if I'm reading it right, Will, there's still 82 feet of frontage, right? Is that what I'm reading in the number?
Yeah.
Let me just do a
That's,
quick.
okay, that says B2. Yeah, see, that shows how bad my eyes are. Because I was gonna say, that seems like a lot still for, all right, so what is the frontage now?
So right now, from the front door
40 feet or
down to the, let's call it the gutter line, is about
40 feet, yeah. 40 feet.
40 something?
57 feet, give or take.
Yeah, still
And
plenty.
right now it's 70.
Yeah, okay.
We're reducing it by 13, give or take.
All
So
right.
you have plenty of room to have your trucks come out and make their turn to the right or make their turn to the left.
I think the
Well, we just figured, you really you don't need much room in the front, because what else would you use it for other than exiting your vehicles to the street to go to a fire?
Yep.
Or a call. So in the back, right now, under existing conditions, I'm gonna measure it. Under existing conditions, you've got about 58, 60 feet, give or take. All right, and we're giving you another 13 feet, so we're giving you 72, 73 feet back there. Just give you more room to maneuver your trucks. Now,
How long is the fire?
we just ran a cut and fill today.
Maybe give it to
And what's happening is, because we lowered everything, we're coming up with about a 6,000 yard export. Which, you know, at assuming $25 a yard, it's 200 grand of earthwork just to get off the site. All right, so we obviously don't want that.
No.
So we really can't, if we keep this horizontal layout as we have it, we really can't raise the building anymore because it'll be too steep of a slope coming down. You know, as we have it pushed forward, it'll be too steep of a slope coming down. It'd be like, you know, 13, 14%. It's just too much on the Page West side. So I guess the question is, for the committee, you know, are you comfortable? Would you rather have it like it is right now and have an extra 10, 15 feet in the back, knowing that it's gonna be 150, 200 grand of export? Or would you rather have us push that building back, you know, so that the front may be at its original location? And now we're gonna give you the amount in back that you currently have, which is, you know, 58, 60 feet. But we're gonna be able to, not have so much export that we gotta take off the site.
I mean, to me, we're building a building that's gonna be used for the next 50 plus years. 150,000 is, you know, and a $14 million project, to have it be right, I think is probably a no. And the other question I would have is, could we get Public Works to do some of this and save some money, right? Is there a place we could use the fill and take it locally and have them dump it and use it?
And from my perspective, right, lowering the building, one, we have a steepness issue now. I mean, if you go in sideways, well, you have to go in sideways with the ladder truck, otherwise you hit the bumper on the back because of the steepness when you back in. So from my perspective as a driver operator, I have no issue from that perspective. I think my only question was to make sure we could keep trucks on the apron out front, especially with mutual aid coming in or, you know, any kind of mass casualty or anything like that, to have extra trucks. But you're saying there's 50 feet, which is more than enough anyway.
57.
Yeah, but to me, the bigger win is additional parking and blacktop out back for members.
So one thing I'm gonna do, not to say that I can't do anything with this configuration to help with that. I think we can certainly pick up things in the back. I think what I'd like to explore is doing an in-place reclaim of the existing pavement and aggregate and reusing that. That might save you 600-800 yards that you don't have to hog off and then replace and bring back in. So I think there could be some savings there.
Okay.
And you know, we've got a lot of grass back there, so we could possibly, you know, raise that back up a foot or two in the back. So I think there's ways to lose some of that. I can't lose 6,000, but I think I can get you down from 6,000 maybe to, you know, 3,500 or 4,000, something like that would be my goal.
Okay.
So,
And, sorry,
no, go ahead.
so you're gonna lower the elevation for the entire building?
Yes.
That would lower both sides. Is there any, and again, opportunity to have the office side higher, right?
Sorry.
Oh, good. The office side higher, so you're not having to dig that down and have the bays at a level. From a design point of view, could you ever make that work to save on additional fill coming out?
I mean, just like
So-
5-6 steps, something like
Yeah.
that. Is a difference.
So you're saying
A
have
couple foot difference is a lot of fill.
a finished floor difference on the
Mhm.
inside of the building. I mean, We could, some considerations with that would be that, of course, we need to have steps in
Coming,
between.
yeah. A ramp of some sort, probably.
A ramp and or some type of lift, which
Mhm.
does add a pretty decent amount of cost. Those lifts are not that cheap.
Mhm.
So there would be a consideration with that. My main concern with doing something like that would potentially be response time of guys going from their bunks all the way to the trucks, because you're well, it's not a lot, you're technically adding some type of vertical distance that they would have to go through. So I don't know if that is an expressed concern from the firemen themselves, but
But if you had steps in where their travel path was, right? Just steps down.
yeah.
If they're going to a fire or an ambulance call, they better be able to turn the steps, right? It's the
That'll
general,
wake them up, right?
It's
They
the-
might
it's
be
the-
waking up.
that'll
right?
wake 'em up.
it's
Yeah.
the general public that we have to support from an
Of
ADA
course.
point of view in and out of the building.
Yeah.
I just throw it out as an option and something to think about, you
Yeah,
know, if
yeah,
it's gonna save us $30,000, then is it worth it? No. But if it's a couple, you know, if it's gonna save us 100,000 or 150, I don't, maybe it's worth looking at.
We can look into it, yeah.
Well,
I like to see why there's a reason why that wouldn't be able to be possible.
Should
Or
have
if there's
Public
another
Works if they
project
need
that
it.
can use.
And then I'll ask Public Works, I will ask Public Works too, if there's an opportunity to take the fill and if we have somewhere to use it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, one thing that's probably gonna have to happen is, they're gonna have to take
Sample.
some samples of the soil just to see if there's anything in it. You know, if it's too contaminated or something, it might just have to go to landfill potentially, but, could also be good.
I mean, yeah, hopefully it's a clean fill. I mean, it was just an open space before, wasn't it? I don't remember anything. It was being built when I came into town, or just being built.
There used to be houses with senators now.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I mean, if we can offset the cost and it's not significant, I would, my primary vote would be to keep it level.
yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
And if the town can use it and offset an expense somewhere else, then it's beneficial.
So guys, I apologize for my dog barking. We were talking about possibly lifting up the administrative wing a foot or two. Is that what we're talking about?
That was the question, is
Yeah.
it something that could be done to save?
Yeah, what's the answer?
No.
I say no,
Preferably not, right, would be the answer, yes.
unless you could save a
Okay.
ton.
Yeah,
So would you like me to proceed then?
Yeah.
Flat, and I will look for ways with this elevation to try to get that cut down a little bit. And then we'll explore the option of possibly Public Works taking some off the site. That'd be a home run. And then, just so you guys know, I think Eric, you told them, but I'm gonna be out there Wednesday morning at 7:30 doing test pits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the septic system back there, because we want a new septic system. I got a new test pits. So that's an FYI.
yeah, and that's in coordination with the health department already, so. I think it was Rachel is gonna be out there with you, Will?
Yeah, Rachel's gonna meet me out there. She'll be there at 9. But I'll be there at 7:30. Hopefully, open up all the pits before she gets there.
Okay, alright. Oh, looks like Dave might have dropped out, he looks like he's in the waiting room. Is there a way to let Dave back in? It looks like he might have dropped out. So, Will, was that the main item that you wanted to address with the committee? Is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, that's it. Unless, I mean, of course, unless you have any feedback on the, and you might have not had a chance to look at the plans, but welcome any feedback that you may have in terms of the site layout that you might like to see us revise. That would be it.
We're still looking at 5
Well,
borings.
It probably would be good to just walk through kind of some of the landscape design, your drainage strategy, kind of locations, utilities. Just give them, the group an overview, because they have it in front of them, and I know it's probably hard if you're looking at the prints, the code, all of the good detail that they have on the plan.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't share my screen.
You can try now, you should be able to. We got you up on the screen.
Let's see what we got here. know if it comes through at any point.
Yeah, if you could go into presentation mode versus slideshow kind of mode, it would be, or make it bigger somehow, it would be helpful.
Zoom in.
Yeah, alright, so. Can you see a little better? I'm trying to zoom in on this thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, how do I,
If you go up to view, Will, up at the top, there should be a full screen.
maybe,
Go up a couple, right there, oop, down a couple,
Uh,
doesn't that say full screen?
okay, there we go.
alright, let me, alright, so basically, this is the utility plan and also showing the stormwater. So you can see out the back, we come out the back with our oil water separator to our holding tank. That thing needs to get pumped, whatever, once every month, every 3 months, every 4 months, however often that fills up, but that's the floor drains, going to that.
And how big was that tank, Will?
I've got it right now is 2,000
2,000, okay.
Do you guys do that now?
Then I've also got a 2,000 gallon underground water holding tank. And it's my understanding that is to top off the trucks.
Yes.
And then we've got in the back a generator, and a transformer over here, so our electrical service is over here. Over here, we have, mechanical units, ground mounted mechanical units for the building. And then down over here, we've got a decon tank right there. And then we have our 30,000 gallon underground, fire tank right there.
And Will, we're proposing some kind of fencing around the HVAC equipment, right?
Yes. Yeah, that is correct.
Making that 30,000 gallons smaller.
That's for the fire suppression system, right? That's,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the,
That's for the sprinklers.
that's the required
Okay.
size for the building.
And I double checked with our plumbing engineer. He said it's 20,000 and then there's a 30,000, and that's the jump for the sizes of the tanks. And the code required minimum was somewhere in between. Of course. So.
And the only thing I think I would wanna do is that 2,000 to top off trucks, that's kinda small, especially if we do need extra water, so maybe we can talk about seeing if we can make that larger to actually use to fill the trucks on a
Larger.
emergency scene, not just topping off trucks randomly.
Sure thing. What do you have like a size in mind, or?
And what do they do
What's
for
the size?
cisterns in like developments? Is it start at 10?
10 usually. We talked about putting a 15 out here.
I mean,
There was like 50,000, I think, to dump a 15 out here.
I would like
So-
15 or bigger, honestly.
I think-
15,000.
Yeah, if we're digging and we could put a 15 in there, I mean.
It covers the whole center of town that way, or mutual aid coming in and out, so.
Okay.
You hearing that, Will?
No, you wanna go, well, did you wanna go 30,000 down to 15, is that what I heard?
No,
no.
The 2,000 up to 15
For the topping
to
off.
top the trucks off. 2,000 is,
Right there, okay.
yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say the same thing, cause 2,000 is gonna fill your bathtub.
It's 3 trucks.
Yeah.
Not even a tanker.
All right, so let me keep going around. The existing septic system is back here. We will put the new septic system somewhere back here. I won't know the scope of that thing until I get out and do the testing for the soil. And that'll inform the length and the type, but we are looking at putting it back here, possibly underneath the pavement. If it has to be longer than right here, then I'll extend it under the pavement. Back here, we have our propane tanks, 2 1,000 gallon above ground propane tanks with some bollards protecting them.
Have we thought about putting those underground?
We could definitely put those underground. I believe somebody last time spoke, you spoke to potentially having them above ground.
I don't care either, I just didn't.
The only reason I would prefer above ground is because then we don't have to own the tanks.
Right.
Yeah.
The propane company owns the tanks.
Okay.
And you can switch
Yeah, you can switch.
You can switch
vendors,
companies.
Suppliers.
But we can,
With your own, you can switch.
we can switch underground own to,
But like here, we got all of that for free, so.
yeah, if they'll put it. We know how well that worked with us.
Yeah, but then again, if we could go natural gas too, then at least.
Yeah, if the natural gas line comes in some point, that'll be key.
It's easier to
but-
switch that way.
Yeah. Out
Unless you
there
have it
on
as a
49.
backup.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm good either way, just they're two big tanks on top of each other above ground out there.
We can shove them underground if that's desirable.
I mean, cause now with, sorry,
right.
is it ASME rights, the standard? They never need to be inspected, right? They're good for life, once they're underground, so it's not like you have a need to rip them up and, so.
Unless the laws change.
Unless the laws change at some point, but hopefully you'd be grandfathered through at some point with it, but yeah, I'm good if we wanna keep them above ground, I just asked a question.
Okay.
What's the
And,
possibility
and that's something that,
of
you know,
connecting to the natural gas?
it's not really a
Yeah.
permitting issue, we permit it like this above ground, you can go underground between, land use permits and construction, so. You could change your mind later on if you wanted to.
Cause I think underground gives you a better setback, right? You
Yeah.
can actually go 15 feet underground with 1,000 versus 25 above ground.
Yeah, you get a little bit more leeway.
Yeah.
With that. I think the only other issue when we've run into above ground versus underground was, I think and it goes town by town, but I believe some towns have it so that you can't put tanks underground, as part of an ordinance, and so, I'm not aware of anything like that here, so, I'm totally okay with leaving them above ground as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Ed, if some point the gas comes through, we don't need them anymore, they just come take them and be done with them, so.
There's no excavation.
And there's no excavation to pull them up and they're not sitting there.
Yeah, I would just say put some kind of fence there. that
Yeah.
If they start to rust, we're not looking at it.
Alright, so we leave them for now?
Yep, leave them.
Yep.
Sorry to
And
derail
then-
though.
The other utilities to talk about are, we need a water well. And I'm not gonna unleash my guy on that to start, designing that and reaching out to Connecticut, Public Health until we have a septic system that we know where it's gonna go, and I'm pretty confident it's gonna go over here, so. Based upon that, we need a certain separating distance from the well to the leaching field as well as to neighboring properties, neighboring wells. So we'll look at probably putting the new well somewhere, probably in this specific, right here, we're showing it right here, proposed well.
Yep. Cause you're what, 75 feet from your septic minimum?
Yeah, 75 feet from the leaching. And again, I don't know if the leaching is gonna end right here, extend out to here, I just won't know until we test those soils.
Yep.
But we're showing our well right there, and then, we're we're going into the building, and then this would also feed the water tank. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I've got this feeding the building, and then it's coming back out to feed the 30,000 gallon tank. But we can configure it however we want it to. And then for stormwater, most of the site, there's like a ridge like back here that some goes, back here it starts going that way and this all comes this way, so we're gonna probably have to go underground. As you can see, we're really tied up with our program. So it's possible we could maybe go a little bit of above ground over here. Not sure you really want a detention pond right in the front of your property. But we are also going to do some test pits for stormwater over here, and we're gonna do a couple way in the back. And I don't really wanna put one back here, but, until I know about that septic system, I just don't know where we're gonna put the stormwater exactly, other than the majority is gonna have to come down towards the road, and we are gonna have to detain it, and I think we're gonna have to go underground, because I just don't have the real estate to put it above ground.
So can we use any of the, two questions for that 30,000 gallon building tank, right? It's gonna get filled once and hopefully it never goes off, right? We're not dumping a fire system, but we know the water is gonna become stagnant. We'll have to clean it and there'll be required maintenance on it. Can we to fill that, will there be an external fill on that tank?
Yes.
Besides the, not using the well pump, right? I'd rather probably pay a company to come in with a big water truck and fill it. not-
Yeah, the well wouldn't be able to service a system of that size.
But that's what he's showing, right? You're showing the well loop into the building back out, you said.
It loops back into the building to service all of the other water fixtures on the inside, but not the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system is primarily serviced by that water storage tank.
So is this water storage tank atmospherically stored or is
Yeah.
it pressurized? Atmospheric?
Yeah.
So you have to fire pump also to pump the water out
Yes,
of there?
there's a
Yes,
big
yeah,
ass
and there
fire
is a
pump.
fire pump on the
Okay.
inside, yeah. But to answer your question about whether it would be filled by a truck, it would be.
Okay.
There would be a manhole.
I thought I heard Will say the well pump was going into the building, back out to the fire, to that tank.
Well, there may be a top off.
That's what I'm showing, but I can remove that pipe
Yeah.
going.
Oh,
So
Okay.
you guys are saying that, that 30,000 gallon tank will not be filled by the well?
No.
It's gonna be filled, you're gonna bring a truck in to fill it?
Yeah, it'll be filled by a truck,
Okay,
yeah.
But I think you need an automatic fill.
To keep it topped off if it does go. My other question would be, could we, from a sustainability point of view, could we use building runoff? Could we, right, storm drain runoff? And to keep that tank topped off?
I'm pretty confident the answer is yes, but I also think that it opens some
Contaminants.
problems, yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
filter it and.
You'd have to filter it, yeah.
Because we talked about that for the tank, for the trucks too. We asked if we could use the runoff from the.
Yeah, Bob may remember the East Hartford station, we did exactly that. And it required a vortex system to sort of clean the water, because you are getting debris coming off of the roof. And they ended up thinking it was problematic at the end, that they didn't use it as much as they thought they would, and it was a fairly large investment.
Gotcha.
So we have to do a little bit more investigation on that, but our first try of doing that, we heard from the end user a few years later, they didn't really use it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of using it for domestic toilets, that kind of stuff, because it always tends to clog the valves and filters and stuff. But I'm thinking when you're pumping water out of it through a 5-inch hose, it's probably not clogging your filter versus, trying to run it through a toilet valve. That's my only kind of ask.
What about for that 12,000 gallon holding tank that you're talking about in the back?
Yeah, we were talking about that too, yeah.
We could look into it and seeing if we could apply it for that top off tank.
Because honestly, that tank's gonna get filled with water out of the reservoir or somewhere else, which is a hell of a lot dirtier than what's coming off your roof.
100%, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
if we could,
the problem is to come off of the street drainage of the pavement, right, Will, then, that's oily waste, I just wanna make sure that's not problematic, but we should continue that conversation because it definitely is a sustainable
I would-
solution.
I wouldn't use the site runoff, we just use the roof runoff,
Right.
yeah.
The roof's gotta be cleaner.
So regarding, I agree with Dave, the roof runoff would be much easier. Now, we're not gonna be able to take credit of any of that volume in our stormwater calculations, because it's mostly gonna be full all the time anyway, so from a reuse of rainwater, it's great, but just to be clear, it's not gonna help out with being able to reduce our detention required for the stormwater though.
Get it, but it is good for sustainability, and if we do wanna do lead points, it'll help.
You're gonna use the water out of filling the fire trucks.
Yeah, it will get used, and eventually it will help, so,
Do you want me to take the roof leader, run it through a vortex and take it to the tank, the 2,000 gallon tank in the back?
It'll be 15,000.
15,000.
the one we're gonna
Throw
up,
it to the catch basin?
yep.
And I don't know if you heard, but it'd be 15,000, not the 2.
Yeah, Will, 15,15000.
Right. The two is becoming 50.
Yeah.
And what about
You
the
got it.
30,000 in the front?
Do you wanna do that for the sprinkler system?
Well, that one should never get drained, quite
That's-
honestly.
We will drain the other, that's a
Yeah.
guarantee. So-
That one's gonna get drained when we clean it. I don't remember what it is, I think it's 5 years we have to drain it
Yeah,
and
I-
we inspect it. Somebody goes scuba diving, right? Isn't that what we did at schools, 5?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd prefer that to be cleaner, but for the trucks,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we pump a heck of a lot worse water out of it anywhere.
Exactly, exactly. Yep, okay.
So we'll investigate that, see what needs to be done.
Back to you, Will.
Alright, and I think that was all I had.
Okay.
It's site plan's come a pretty long way. I don't know if anyone had any other questions or anything.
So besides the septic test pits, there's 5 boreholes still, right, that you're planning to do
Yeah, for the geotech.
for the geo?
Yeah, and that will help inform our foundation design for
Okay.
structural.
I just wanted to make sure that didn't change.
No, that's all staying. Initially, they told me the 26th, it's now the 23rd, but
Yeah.
everything still applies.
Yeah.
everywhere.
Which will be fine, cause by the 19th, by tomorrow, should have the survey from the underground folks, so.
Yeah, and I think the whole idea with that is, and I could be wrong, but Dan over at Down to Earth has told me in the past that call before you dig can sometimes miss some utilities, and yeah, it's definitely a good thing to do that for sure. Will, did you have anything else that you wanted to share? I think you gave a pretty good summary of everything so far on the civil design.
Alright, so nothing else from me, I'm gonna sign off. Good to see everybody,
Thank you, Will.
keep moving forward with this.
Thanks for
Thank
hopping
you.
on, Will, appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Rick from RJS.
One quick question, the
Oh, yeah.
the driveway and access to the parking in the back, is that two-way, or are you exiting?
So at the moment, we show it as two-way. We have to go over the town planner on one specific zone ordinance where we are not allowed to have a drive aisle within 100 feet of another drive aisle on this road, apparently. But I don't anticipate it being too much of an issue because that entails, essentially, it'll either be a two-way or a one-way. If he says yes, then it'll be two-way. If no, it'll be a one-way. And
This is the exit over here.
That's an
We're
exit.
used to one-way now, I would
Right.
keep it.
Just keep it one-way regardless?
Honestly, the fact you're coming around the
Fire
building
truck.
with trucks, I'd say one way.
One-way,
But
okay.
certainly give enough girth to
Yeah,
let
yeah,
trucks
it's-
swing and extra parking.
That's what I was gonna
It's very wide. It's I think it's shown as either 20 or 24 feet at the moment. So that's enough to have two lanes.
I'd be more apt that a lane would end up being parking, right? You have a big meeting or something going on and then still be able to get the trucks around, so I think one way makes.
Which
Okay.
is key, I mean, we don't wanna use.
Then we'll make sure to incorporate that then and just keep it one way. That takes that out of the equation.
You're right, I could see somebody coming cranking around that corner as a truck's coming in, now you gotta head on in your own parking lot.
Alright,
Yeah.
yeah, Rick, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you to go over the kitchen design so far.
If you guys go 5 or 6 pages into your packet, you'll see a ES.
You can see my screen okay, correct?
Yep,
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so, basically, we have typical firehouse kitchen, we have cooking on the left, we have pot washing on the right, prep on the bottom. And we kinda just wanna talk about the space and what your vision is on the materials. Are you guys looking for a total commercial, all stainless steel kind of countertops with everything stainless, or are we gonna do kind of a blend in a firehouse environment where we maybe, the pot washing stainless, but the prep and the center table might be solid surface, commercial grade with newer cabinetry, so hold pots and pans and stuff like that?
I would almost say, from my perspective, stainless, I don't know what others feel. Just from ease of cleaning everything else.
yeah, the prep areas for sure and the countertops, I think all of that. The cabinetry could be, you know,
Wood, whatever.
wood, yeah, it doesn't need to be stainless, so a commercial grade.
So you're saying everything that's hitting food down below, let's keep that stainless, and then wall cabinets, we do like a commercial grade
Yeah,
millwork cabinets to kind of house plates and things like that for you, correct?
yep.
Yep, I agree.
What would you use for a backslash? Would you run the stainless up the wall, or would you use something different for a back?
So, behind the hood, behind the cooking range, I would recommend stainless steel.
Yeah,
In this zone here. And then, you know, depending on, over here by the pot sink, we draw, you know, maybe this wall here is stainless, you know, because it gets messy, right? When we do stainless here, then it's a question of, you know, what you want in the rest of the room. I wouldn't do the whole room stainless, it would be.
yeah, overbearing.
Yeah, overbearing. Yeah, whether you do tile, FRPs, you know, depends on what the interior designers come up with for you.
Yeah, that can be.
Yeah, I think we would recommend just an FRP panel, they could even do texture that looks like tile. Tile would be too expensive for us at the end of the day when we're looking at pricing and so forth. So I think an FRP probably blends well and transitions well with the stainless too. So easy to clean, maintain, comes in plenty of colors. So I think it's a good aesthetic choice too.
Yep.
Yeah, I can look into getting some samples for you to actually see what those FRP panels look like and see what color range they have as well.
Yeah, I think that, unless somebody disagrees, I think that makes sense, right? You guys design it, you know what our intentions are. The cook area is stainless, easy clean up for guys, right?
Someone's gonna take abuse.
Something that's gonna take, yeah, exactly, and still look good for a while.
Right, exactly. I guess oh, sorry, Rick, go ahead.
Oh, no, one other question is on, you know, the main cooking battery. We're thinking a commercial range.
Yep.
We call this like the universal range, double oven down below. They can hold baking pans, sheet pans, full size, you know, for volume, a 6 burner. And then in this zone here, this is a griddle.
Yeah.
That's raised with like I don't want to call it a broiler underneath. It's more of like a cheese melter, you know. It gives you a little bit of browning that we typically do in firehouses, but we do have some firehouses that says, Rick, you know, we don't want the griddle. Let's just do 10 burners and we'll put a griddle plate on. So I'm just trying to get some feedback and direction
If you're
from
doing
there.
scrambled eggs or pancakes or something like
We can always just get the skillet to put onto the stove, right, instead of the.
On the burner.
Right. So I'd almost go full burners, right? Because again, if you have the right stove, then you just take the grates out, you put the skillet or you put a skillet on top, right? And then you have more
Gives you
flexibility that way.
flexibility, that's.
And it's easier to clean because you can just pull it out, clean it that way.
Well, the nice thing about if we don't raise the griddle, we have this is a 24-inch griddle. The nice thing about this, if you do have a griddle, you know, I can't do all of that, but I mean, you know, this is 24 inches, is this can be thermostatically controlled. So, you know, if you're cooking eggs, pancakes, and you hit the temperature gauge 350, you know it's 350. Now, if we do all burners and you take 2 burners off and you recess the griddle plate, you have no thermostatic control. That griddle plate heats up and can go to, you know, 500 degrees. So it's just, you know, you know, each department's different, but I'm just pointing that out to you.
You know what, I'm leaning towards the skillet, but I can go back to the membership of the Firehouse too and ask them.
I
But
kinda
let's
like
leave it as you have
Yeah.
it for now.
And they get 8 burners.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, leave it as is, and then we'll kind
And I
of
would go
confirm
with
it.
the griddle.
Yeah,
I'd go griddle with the 8 burners. It's there.
it's 6 burners,
Well,
6.
6 burners, yeah, 6.
Yeah. But that's still a lot of pots on a
It is.
commercial stove. I mean,
What is that, 72 inch?
60 inch.
60.
it's a good sized stove. I honestly care more about the refrigeration in here. that's the bigger, cause we're always, when we have a major storm in town, right, we're gathering food for, or preparing for a major storm, we're gathering food and trying to find places to store it, and this will be where we're feeding the fire department, ambulance volunteers out of
Paid staff too.
paid staff, so the refrigeration space is more of a consideration for me, quite honestly.
Okay.
And that's always,
Okay, so currently in the design, we have single door, and I can get you some spec sheets, there's a single door commercial freezer, one door, and a single door commercial refrigerator, one door. You know, we're trying to keep clearances into the storeroom in the back, and clearances between, you know, the line that's ADA.
Yep.
Accessibility. I guess, you know, we could, if you think you need more refrigeration, we could, you know, in this zone, do an under-counter refrigerator, let's say, you know, underneath this table that is a landing spot that heads out to this dining room or gathering room for you.
Or even in the storeroom, we could do some low refrigeration with shelves up high or something.
I'm almost thinking if we do a double refrigerator in the common space, maybe just do a smaller freezer in the storage space. Because we should be freezing less stuff than we
That's
need
true.
for mass incidents. So
Yeah,
to me, a double wide.
So a larger fridge in the main kitchen, and then in the pantry, we'll have a freezer.
And it doesn't have to be as big, right, by any stretch, but again, someplace to freeze
Do the
stuff.
freezer.
you could do an under counter freezer there.
That would
even.
work too.
Yeah. Yep.
But would you want an under-counter, well, do you want an upright freezer? You know, maybe, you know, we replace, come on. We replace this unit here and put a one-door freezer in this zone here?
Yeah,
That works.
yep.
You know,
'Cause
if it
honestly-
opens out.
It would be nice to keep your under counter space at the window there to be able to put stuff to hand it out and so. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And that's a great call, Kevin, right? We don't freeze that much stuff
We shouldn't.
overall.
We don't want
shouldn't
it.
be storing it
Thank God
there.
only knows how many years it's there.
I know, you open that upright.
Billy Hood would be,
Yeah.
would eat all the hot dogs that were frozen.
Any microwaves?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. You want a microwave in your kitchen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We,
Okay. Is there any other pieces that you guys see?
Commercial coffee maker.
Yes. And if we could have that
Microwave,
wired thing.
coffee brewer?
Yep.
here?
Yep.
Okay. We can get that added.
I mean, we need room for a toaster oven, like.
We try to get
Large,
on the
but that's
counter,
on the
we
counter,
can plug
so-
it in. And in the sinks, you're doing pot sink, right, and all that. For
Say that one more time?
pot wash sink, right, in the double sinks there.
We have a 3-compartment sink with an under-counter commercial dishwasher.
Okay.
Underneath here, so, we have you covered there.
And where are drawers in this
Say
design?
that one more time?
Drawers, storing.
When we elevate, you're gonna have, these counters here will have drawers built. We'll do an elevation and show you how many drawers for cutlery, and what, you know, we haven't gotten that far yet. There'll be drawers, you know, in this counter here, you know, near the stove. There'll be a blend of drawers and undershelving, you know, to hold fry pans, utensils, and things like that.
Gotcha.
Can we make sure there's power in that center island? For
We
sure.
can do that.
On the ends, a couple of them, or even recessed in it.
Yep, we can have them on the ends, those would be convenient outlets to plug in, you know, blenders, whatever you need.
Yep.
Yep,
Ice maker, do you guys need an ice maker? Is
Mm-hmm.
that something you'd rather have closer to the bays in terms of proximity?
I think we should have, we could maybe put under one of the counters there
On the
somewhere.
counter unit.
Yeah, just to have the
And your
ability
cabinet, freezer and the ice maker next to
to
it.
get it ice for people.
Yeah.
Or we look at within one of the fridges or something, could you do something? But now that we're doing true fridges versus a freezer. But yes, we should have an ice maker, especially on a hot summer day, people.
Would you want that in the kitchen, or are you thinking of putting it out toward the
Out in the bay.
trucks?
It's usually out where
In
the
the
trucks
bay?
are, out by
Yeah.
the trucks.
Somewhere by the trucks, right?
Or we'll use
I
more.
think we got one, the company one there, next to the slop sink.
Well, we have one at company two.
Company
Yeah,
two,
company
yeah.
The big one there,
Yeah.
I figured I'd ask since I've seen it go both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could
Beneficial
always,
in both
Use it
spots,
more
but I
in
think
the
it's more
bays.
important in the bag.
and we could always go out and get it, bring it into the kitchen if we need
Or
it.
if there's a door close by the kitchen, put the thing as close as you could be to the door.
Or if it can't be in the bay for public health,
Yeah.
then put it in a place where it's not getting used.
It'll probably have to be in one of the rooms off of the
That's what I
base.
was saying.
I was reading somewhere that some health departments have started taking issue with them being directly in the apparatus bay, so
Mhm.
we can
But
find a
yeah,
spot for it.
honestly, the square footage within the kitchen is probably too
Too precious.
value and precious for it, so if we can put it out there.
We're on wheels, so we can move it out.
Exactly. If we need to wheel it into the meeting
Once
room,
it passes inspection, we'll roll it out.
hook it up to a hose, spigot.
Yeah, do a water cooled one,
Exactly.
have it go into the truck fill tank.
Do we need a door between the kitchen and the pantry?
In the past, I feel like we usually include one.
I think we usually do. I thought it was usually for securing reasons, you know.
I was gonna say yes, so we could lock it.
Okay.
I would definitely go with that.
Yeah.
I believe it was good.
Did I hear a pocket door?
No,
Opening?
No, we were just wondering whether we could eliminate the door completely, but that got squashed.
But that's a good question though, Rick, because that was actually gonna be one of my questions for you tonight, was if you wanted to have some way of closing those openings.
we should have a roll up
Like
in
some
the
type of
openings,
roll-up,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to confirm.
Cause if the meeting room is open and they don't wanna use the kitchen, they shouldn't have access to it, so.
Right, and if both sides are open, you could see all the way through. from the meeting room
Correct,
to the
yes.
day room.
Roll ups on both those openings.
Okay.
And then when we get to the access plan, we'll wanna look at these doors for access control.
For sure.
Cause again, we'll wanna be able to control it, open it up for if we are using it for an outside event, to be able to limit their access.
Of course, yeah, and I think the actual man doors going into the kitchen right now, I switched those to be 180s, so they pivot in both directions.
So,
Just for ease of moving
Yeah, yeah.
food back and forth, but I can always change that.
which is fine, we would just have to, if they're 180s, we'd have to do a mag lock on them, right? Cause you're not controlling them with a strike or a handset, and then we're gonna have to tie them to the fire alarm to release them.
Yeah.
So it just adds complexity.
We could always change it back too. That should be an easy change.
Okay, I think, I mean, if you like the flow of the kitchen, how it's laid out, I think you've answered most of our questions to keep moving it forward and then circle back with you once we detail these counters and show you the drawers and, you know, just make sure we have the right count for what your needs are.
I think my only question, right, is where you look to go into the training room, you have the sinks in front of the window going into the training room there. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward spot, but we can look at potentially relocating them. We just maybe have to move some things around.
Well, I was gonna say maybe just move the sink to the left, the cabinets over, so that way as you're working and serving food out the window, one, you can get to it without leaning over a sink or.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So, these are prep sinks, and I'm concerned with the health department if we move them close to like a dirty area, you know, we thought about that. Then I know Eric and I had a couple conversations, was, you know, do we take this door and center it, which could screw up what's going on in this room, and you know, do an L-shaped counter, you know, over in this zone here, right, where we have the prep, let's say.
Do we need double prep sinks by code? Is that a requirement?
Typically,
Yeah.
So what if,
you're an assembly, you're a public, are you gonna, I guess, is it gonna just be for the, for the fire team, or are there gonna be, if I wanna have an event there, I can rent the hall and,
I would not say you're not gonna rent it, but there could be other town groups that come in
You
to
guys might
use
do
it.
like a breakfast or
I
something.
was gonna
Yes.
say, we do events to the public and
Yes.
people, so.
My question would be, could we take those two sinks out completely right there and extend this center island and put the prep sinks into the center island? So if those sinks came out, you'd have an open clearance to the window, maybe there's just like a prep shelf, a little shelf there of some sort. And you'd still keep your clearances if those sinks weren't there to be able to.
I kind of feel the pot sinks are too far away from the stove. Where do you use the pots?
I know what you're saying, do this, extend this table down,
Yeah, the sink's in there.
right? Is that what I'm hearing?
And put your prep,
But that makes
Put
it
the
even
prep
more
sinks in
difficult to
this
get to the
zone,
pot
and
sinks.
then do
but you wouldn't use the
a
pot sinks for cooking, right? The
smaller
prep
ledge
sinks
over
would be
here.
used more for the initial cooking.
Right.
We need that 5-foot turning radius.
Prep, cook, then it's a longer walk to clean at the end, but
But to Dave's point, we do need to have 5-foot turning
We need
radius on
this,
both sides.
we need a 5-foot radius is,
but your radius gets bigger if those sinks come out under the window, right? That radius slides down, so you may not be able to go quite that big, but
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we can look at it. I mean, definitely, we'll study it, study.
because to Ed's point, right, you're gonna use the prep sinks as you're preparing and wanting to go to the stove. So it's much closer there. It does make your walk to get the stuff from the stove to the cleaning, and the dishwasher, but most of it's gonna probably go from the stove to the table anyway to the dishwasher, so.
Leaning over a sink to serve food or anything.
Yeah,
We
I agree,
think you already have water at the hand sink on the other side of that island, so we already have water there, we're gonna add power. You know, we gotta be careful with power with GFI and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may work.
I mean, even if you put the three sinks together and then have prep area for the rest of the island.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
but if you guys could study that.
Yep, we will, and come back with an option, maybe a couple options, show you what works best. Is the idea, this room down here is the training room, correct, where I'm kind of circling my mouse?
Yeah.
So, the idea is to have a window, I mean, do you need a window here, I guess is the second question, or would you, for the training room, would you just use a door and we close the window and we keep it status quo?
Sounds good to me.
I don't know. You want people to be able to go in if they're in a training, to be able to go in and eat, grab coffee, things like that, that may not be in the window. So I can see the reason for foot traffic, but also there's other events where you may just say, stay out and we hand you stuff through the window. I think this gives you flexibility in either direction for the training room and also for the day room in the back.
Could the window shrink? Does it have to be that big?
No.
I mean, unless you have personal preference, I don't see a reason why the window can't shrink.
I mean, what's the window now?
3-footer, we got.
6, I'd say it's
I think it's 72 inches.
I
Much
mean,
more than that.
I mean, honestly, you could go
4, I was gonna
Like
say.
maybe like a 2-foot window, let's say off to the side.
I'd say a 4-foot window. 4-foot window is plenty. I don't think we need a 6-foot by any stretch, but 24 just will feel off to me. It looks too small. It's like you're
At
forcing
least
it.
3 foot.
Yeah, I mean, if you're handing out a tray.
Exactly, yeah.
right,
Well, if you put food up there, you're gonna have a coffee pot and a thing of donuts, and that's all you're gonna have in the window, and that's not enough for 30, 40 people, so.
Yeah, we can shrink that, and we can also apply that to the other side too.
Give you a little more wall space.
And that may give you a little bit of wall space on that side too. If you shrink that window down, you may be able to put little cabinets on that side too.
Honestly, the other side into the day room could shrink. You don't need a 4-foot window into the day room.
That could be maybe 3.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
that is literally probably to have a conversation through it 90% of the time, or just have something sitting up there. If guys are, you're not going to be serving food to large groups through that window.
okay, so that's a 3-foot.
More communal, so they don't bring
Yeah, exactly.
the communal pots in there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll study it with, Silver and, so this window you're saying could shrink. We could downsize this area to the day room is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
3
Okay.
foot. I think 3 foot.
And then have you guys, my other question would be, the storage room off of the day room for the furniture and stuff, has that, I'm assuming you sized that based on what you think is gonna be in that room for chairs and.
Yeah. I think it's sitting in and around 100 square feet right now.
10 by 10.
Yeah, give or take. I think it's a little bit narrower.
Longer and narrower, 12 by 8 or something.
Yeah, something.
I'm just wondering if, even if that wall could come forward or come down 1.5 feet, you probably pick up a bunch of wall space next to where we're proposing that freezer.
Oh, you're talking about for the pantry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we need more pantry space.
We can look into it to be sure.
Yeah, when we get into the furniture selection. we
Yeah.
know exactly.
Where we could move that.
Yeah, and I think regardless of where we are in the documentation process, that wall could be pretty fluid, I think.
Okay.
You know, that would be easy enough to, if we needed to pull it one direction or
Yeah.
pull it the other.
I'd much rather have the extra space in the pantry than have extra space in a closet we're not using for
Okay.
storage of chairs.
We can look into it a little bit more too.
Yeah, because if you needed to empty that entire training room out, I'd pull the truck out and use it back.
We could if we had to,
Yeah, I mean, that's, at that point, that's a lot of space for a training. You have multiple opportunities besides outside of the parking lot, aprons, so.
And if we do the right tables and stuff that flip up flat on the sides, you can push them against the wall and.
Stack chairs, you're good.
Yep, okay, all right.
Okay,
So Rick
Well,
or Rick
circle
or.
back with you and make some tweaks and, get it back.
Okay, can you,
Appreciate it.
Rick, can you or somebody from Silver send me your information, email it to me? Cause we're gonna need it for the minutes, just so I can give it to Ruth.
Oh, yeah, we can send that over.
Sure, Eric, you have it, right? Or-
Yeah. I can send it over to you. Can I send it over to?
Yeah, just email it, perfect,
Yeah, sure thing.
awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Take care.
You too.
Take care.
So, that takes care of civil and food service. I guess, Bob, we could probably hop into the MEP update.
Yeah, well, let me ask, I mean, do you guys have a hard stop time?
No.
Yeah, cause I know we had it was like an hour and a half meeting last time.
Yeah, cause the room, but I think we're divided here, I don't think we have a stop at all today.
All right, because big picture wise MEP, and we'll go through this as deep as you guys want, but basically what's described in the slideshow and what is shown in the drawings are the decisions we came up with last time. And where, so I can walk through just to refresh everybody's memory of what we're doing there. But where we're at right now is a point where it'd be great to get feedback on individual sort of small items. So whether that's a separate meeting that you want me to have with some smaller group, or whether it's folks reviewing the drawings in detail and marking them up or commenting on them. I know we want to have some separate individual meetings with some of the IT vendors. So I'm happy to get that on the books. But what I'm saying is we're at the point now where it's really easy. If we want to add a couple outlets here
Yeah.
because you know you're going to be charging portable radios, or we need a speaker in that room, this would be a great time to capture that stuff. But to jump into the spreadsheet, so I think the first page was really just more sort of an agenda there as far as goals go.
Yeah.
Mechanical heat, heating, cooling, and ventilating. Big picture wise, what we're marching toward is having propane fired boilers. Those will provide heat for many of the spaces, including the apparatus bays. Some vestibules, smaller utility spaces will have hot water based heating. We are continuing forward with the radiant slab.
Yes.
In the apparatus bays. That'll be the first stage of heating in those bays. We'll also have hot water unit heaters, basically to knock the cold out for after you open the apparatus bay doors. So that's the big picture. The majority of the rest of the spaces that are normally occupied are going to have a VRF heat pump style heating and cooling system with dedicated outdoor air for ventilation. So that'll be ceiling cassettes for the majority of the areas. I think we may have wall units in a few, but we're limiting the outside air that we're bringing in to the minimum that you need for ventilation, so that we don't have to heat and cool that whole volume of air, keep the system efficient. So to walk through it on a space-to-space basis, again, we're all HVAC now. We'll jump into the others as we go, but in the apparatus bays, so we've got a high volume exhaust system that will be based on CO and O2 sensors. So if a truck fires off and not all the exhaust is captured by the tailpipe, these things will sense it. They'll crank a bunch of air into the space, but that system will rarely run. We'll have a smaller exhaust system just to cover the code minimum ventilation for that space. And as I said, we will that space will be heated by the radiant slab and the unit heaters. We are at the moment proposing fans to help destratify the air in that space. That does help with your temperature control throughout. Tailpipe exhaust system, I think we said Plymouth last time. Maybe
That's what Ray said, I forgot.
No.
We'll probably double check.
I believe you're right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have that in either station now?
Both. Yeah.
I think they said Magnavent, and then it turned out to not be magnetic or something like that.
It's not
It's
magnetic.
not, they're not magnet.
No. Was Magnavent actually the manufacturer?
I think it was the
though?
manufacturer.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name.
Yellow
of it.
or white? Yellow. That's fine.
Yeah.
They're just slip on.
Okay. And I'll have to check. I see that Addie specifically noted pneumatic or magnetic attachment to tailpipes. I know you guys said you're a spring attachment now. I guess we'll have to check with Plymouth to make sure that that's still available. But if that's your preference,
Definitely not pneumatic, I know that.
yeah. Okay. All right, we already talked about heating. We would not be cooling the apparatus bays. So that's the apparatus base from an HVAC standpoint. The day room is the first of many spaces where it's that system that I described. So we'll have dedicated outdoor air that'll be ducted through a small fan coil unit, so that we're providing neutral temperature air to the space. That'll be dehumidified and tempered to 70 degrees, but not intended to heat or cool. Your heating and cooling will be provided by that VRF system with outdoor heat pumps.
So there's no hot water heat in those spaces.
That's correct. Yeah. Although I don't know right now whether the DOAS may have a hot water coil in it for its tempering. So that is the DOAS. Or I'm sorry, that is the day room. Kitchen. So for a commercial kitchen, we will have a commercial type 1 hood, grease exhaust, Ansel system, all those bells and whistles. With that comes the need to provide tempered makeup air to the space. So whatever the exhaust system's pulling out, we'll have a dedicated unit to provide tempered air back into the kitchen. I already mentioned the greased exhaust fan. We will heat and cool the kitchen with a similar approach to the day room. Similar approach, throughout. Bunk rooms and offices, we'd be looking at the same. It would be probably one ventilation system that provides the air to those spaces, but they would be individually heated and cooled, and as such individually controlled through the VRF system. These systems are highly efficient when they cover a number of spaces like this, because they can be heating one space and cooling another space and actually exchange that air, that energy as they go.
Can you just make sure you call out on that if they're all individually controlled?
Sure. Yep.
Specifically, so as we start to present this forward, that would be a clear question.
Will those bunk rooms be used day one, or is that more future
No,
proofing?
day one. Yeah.
All right, the training room, obviously there'll be a somewhat increased ventilation requirement there, but the approach will be the same. That system will be able to ramp up for when it detects, when you've got a bunch of people in that space. So there'll be CO2 sensing to recognize the number of occupants in the space. But again, heated and cooled in that same approach so we're looking at a couple of different options, especially for some of the larger spaces, whether we're going through a ceiling ducted unit or having a few cassettes. And I think with a lot of that, we're working in concert with Eric and the architecture. If ceiling cassettes just aren't going to work with what's going on with the ceiling, we can put an above ceiling ducted unit and just have diffusers in the space. So the end user won't be able to really tell other than what you see when you look up at the ceiling. Restrooms, locker rooms, corridors. Similarly treated, obviously restrooms will be kept under negative pressure. Corridors are typically kept under slightly positive pressure, but all of those spaces will have cooling. Again, this is all within the living quarters side of the building.
What do you have for ventilation over the showers or the stalls? What's mandated for that?
You can flip to that page. I mean, those spaces.
If it's later, no worries.
I mean, I don't know whether we're proposing a single exhaust fan that would handle the entire space, or
I think the shower stalls probably fall under the category of the restroom.
Yeah.
Based on formatting,
Yeah.
so, believe that's the direction that Addie was thinking, was,
Probably next to the last.
single exhaust fan, but.
well, sometimes
for showers.
particularly if they're running frequently, we'll run those through an energy recovery unit, an ERV, because then you again capture the energy from that exhaust and use it for supplying to the space. I may have to check that one out. The layout.
Just for old purposes, there should be some sort of exhaust in the showers.
Oh, Yes,
Well,
for sure,
There
yeah.
will be
Yep.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got 10
Often,
people taking a shower, you're gonna have that moisture just sitting on the walls and the ceiling.
Right.
And turn to
Yeah.
mold in no time.
Yeah.
because this is a building that can be occupied 24/7, we're probably gonna have those bathrooms programmed such that the general exhaust from those runs 24/7, as opposed to being on an occupancy sensor with timer. Some of the smaller individual rooms, maybe we would look at differently. We'll have a
From an
look.
energy point of view, we may want to schedule that, right, Monday through Friday, or daytime. They're gonna have more use than from 10 PM until 6 AM type of deal.
I mean, I would think we'd be able to put them on some type of timer for that.
Yeah.
Or an occupancy sensor that shuts it off after a half an hour or an hour, or whatever the magic time is.
Because they may not be used for weeks
Right.
too, so.
Well, your locker room, I mean,
People are staying there, but even still, if they're just on the night, they may go home and
yeah,
shower.
they may,
come in on
yeah, they
shift,
may,
so.
I mean,
Alright, moving along. Lobbies, vestibule, corridors really is, it's kind of the same as the corridor discussion we just had. And those spaces will be ventilated, heated, and cooled. The vestibule itself, we tend to control those to a lesser range, because nobody's normally in that space. It works as a transition from outside to the indoor temperature. The gear locker will have a ventilation directly to it, and it will have its own exhaust that will keep the space under negative pressures. We're not transmitting that air out into the rest of the space. Right now, we're proposing that space would be heated but not cooled, although the ventilation from the DOAS system, again, is delivering neutral temperature air. It's delivering 70-degree air. So, on a 90-degree day, we're not looking to keep the locker room at 70 degrees. It's going to crank up some, but it's not unconditioned.
So how about humidity control in there? Forget about temperature control.
So the DOAS system has air conditioning in it, so it is providing dehumidified air.
Okay, because that would be my concern, right? Guys throw their gear in there, it's wet. We don't want something sitting in there molding up. We want that extra dehumidification in that room.
And that may just be a case of us looking at exactly how much air we're running through there, just to keep the CFM level a little higher, so that we're turning that air over a little quicker. Decon room is handled basically the same way. Again, keeping that space under negative pressure, providing that.
And that's, is this where we propose the washer, the gear washer is in the decon room?
It's the gear washer's in the gear wash room. We put that in there with the gear washer and gear dryer. Are you referring to the SCBA?
Yeah.
Yeah, we put that in the same room as the actual gear washing machine and gear
Okay,
dryer.
gotcha.
We can shift it to the decon room.
No, I'm okay. That's a room that really will need extra ventilation. Right?
100%.
So, but the same validation or of the dehumidification for the decon room too.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Moving on, gear wash, as we just talked about. There we were just looking at exhaust with unconditioned makeup that will come from the adjacent space, and we'll have dedicated heating in that space and no cooling. So we will have to look carefully at the heat rejection from the equipment that we put there, and make sure that typically the exhaust from the space would be on a reverse acting thermostat. So.
Because you'll have two pieces of equipment in here generating heat.
Yeah.
If they're working together or at the same time.
Right.
So.
We can look at that a little bit more.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if Addie's gotten.
Well, I think
we gave you guys
equipment, right?
Yeah, we have the
yep.
equipment cut sheets. She might not have gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
Actually,
Or-
but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yep, we'll recheck that. SCBA room is really kind of the same deal. We've got equipment in there that's giving off a fair number of BTUs. So that space will be similarly controlled. Right now, Addie is saying mechanical cooling may be required to maintain manufacturer required space temperature requirements. So I don't think we've fully vetted that out. But
Yeah, I'm still working on getting in touch with the manufacturer.
okay.
Is that for storage of SCBA, or is that if we have a air compressor in there? Or
I think it's related to the air compressor's
compressor.
operating temperature.
Yeah, because Ray gave us specs we gave to you guys, right, on the SCBA compressor.
Yeah, and we have it. We're still waiting to hear back from the manufacturer.
Okay.
One of the questions Addie did have relative to the workroom, so we kind of viewed the workroom off the apparatus bays as being okay to be at the same temperature as the bays themselves, but you know, she was just asking the question to make sure that there was nothing going on in there that you would be worried about.
What happens in the workroom?
Should be like a tool bench,
Tool
tool,
storage.
rolling toolbox, things like that.
Doing some maintenance
Backpack
on
blowers are stored in
SCBA's
there, all that kind of
or
stuff.
chainsaws or you know,
Yeah.
whatever. The electrical room, again, no cooling, it'll be heated, it'll have makeup air with an exhaust fan, or makeup air from the adjacent space with an exhaust fan just based on temperature. We're all 208 volts, so we're not putting any transformers in there, so that room's not gonna have a whole lot of them.
So my question is, just trying to look ahead here as I go to ask, the electrical room is where we would propose network equipment and stuff?
No, we have a separate space for that.
We have a tel data room.
You do?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, I see a technology room, okay.
And I don't know whether that is specifically listed here, but that would have its own dedicated split system.
Yes, correct, that's what I,
And you
when
have
you,
Bell data too by the pantry in the middle of the.
yeah, the tel data room there, but we would bring some DMARC stuff into this room too. I would think it would come in from the street into this electrical room, but most of it, that stuff is okay without any cooling.
Yeah, usually we would come into there and then extend the DMARC into.
Yep, that's tel data room, okay.
Mechanical room, well room, fire pump room, you know, similar, we'll have heat in there to make sure we can squeeze the moisture out, you know, control the moisture to a degree, because those well and fire pump rooms do get a little bit moist, but we'll just have exhaust and heat. You guys relayed last time that we'd be looking to have the building on the town-wide Niagara platform BMS, so for that direction. All right, moving into the plumbing realm. A lot of this is all kind of known, right? There is no domestic water here, so we'll have the private well system that Will is talking about. As he said, we haven't dove into that design yet. We have space allocated for the well equipment, you know, what we think a reasonable layout will be. Obviously, there's storage tanks that come with that. There's controls, pumps, and some kind of water treatment facility, depending on what they find. Will went through the need for the septic system, so leaching field, septic tank. We already talked about the trench drains and the apparatus bays will be going through that oil water separator to a holding tank, which you guys will have to pump because we're not allowed to run that into the septic system. We've got the 2,000 gallon, this says underground, but we'll.
Can we go back to
Yeah.
sanitary?
Yeah.
Did we not discuss last time that the wastewater from the laundry had to go into a holding tank because of contaminants? So it can't go into the septic.
Yeah.
They shown that. Decon?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I believe that's.
I think you are.
Wastewater from bathroom, kitchen as well, laundry service sink will connect to the existing
Yeah.
septic. So laundry cannot, that's where you're, right, that's.
Correct, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that going to a 2,500 gallon underground tank.
That should just be.
So just pull it out of the narrative.
Yeah, we can reword that.
Laundry.
Yes. Yep, correct.
So yeah, another correction relative to the gas service that at least we think we're landing on to above ground 1,000 gallon propane tanks. So the propane will be serving mechanical equipment, domestic water heating, and the kitchen equipment.
And then, question, we have the site dug up with the potential of gas service being run down the street, right? It makes sense now to prep for that.
So, I'm just curious, obviously we all know the gas main, they were talking about that, like, are people able to tap that?
Yeah, that's the goal eventually,
Okay.
is once it's run, so, to come up WF Palmer and have it be serviceable and tapped off of.
I guess I heard that was just a transmission line or something like that.
That's not what I've been told related to
This is
it.
just hearsay, so
I've heard
Yeah.
both sides, to
just
be
wasn't
honest.
sure if you knew more.
Yeah,
But if we plan for it and something that becomes available, then we're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just as soon have a
Or we dig up
service
our brain.
feed out to the street today,
So-
right?
so
So
you'd
you're not
like
digging
us
up
to
your
just-
driveway and.
Just prep for that.
Prep for a service feed to the street,
Okay.
that we're not going back and digging up our brand new asphalt in 3 years when they come and say, oh, there's gas running up the street.
Yeah, we can make sure we have provisions for that. For sure.
Hey, Bob, we should also talk with Rick to make sure on the equipment, also HVAC equipment, that there's conversion kits that are easily available for the equipment that we have on the heating side and also on the cooking side. So yes, either could do both, but sometimes there's conversion kits, where
Yep.
we're gonna have the clearance for all that. We may wanna prep for that now. So let's give that some consideration.
Lots of times that stuff comes already for natural gas and you have
You have to
convert
prep it the other way.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
generator on the plumbing plans is noted as gas. Has that been talked about? I don't wanna back up.
I think that might just be an error. I think
That's what I mean.
Michael was thinking the generator would be propane.
But then we actually pushed back on that,
Oh, you
and we
did?
said we wanted to talk about diesel last time.
Diesel? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a lot better control over diesel during a major event.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think electrically we were on board with it being diesel. That
Okay,
big
yeah.
footprint that you see, I think, is partially because the tank
It's the
itself.
base.
Right, the holding tank.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, let's see. In terms of other connections, so, this is one of the ones where if you guys have some time to look carefully at that development plumbing plan as far as hose bib locations, aerial locations.
I was trying to print those 85 pages out, I could not get them to print right.
No?
So, no, they kept forcing to a weird size on the page, so.
Okay.
What size would you like them printed at? I mean, we could get them printed and sent.
Yeah, we
Wherever.
we can put a print order in and have the copy sent over if you'd like a full size or a half size.
Probably good to get some half sizes of those, just to be able to look at them, because even at this size, they're hard to read.
Yeah. We can put in a print order for you, and it'll take like a day or two to get delivered, but, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. Specific amount or
4, 5, I think 6 sets.
6 copies? Okay, yeah, sure thing. 6 half sizes.
Guys need
Air connection.
air to every truck.
That's what we had planned on, just to be safe. Yep.
And I know that there was talk about power washers last
Yep.
time we were here too. So I guess this was in discussion with our plumbing engineer. I guess we just wanna get an idea for which apparatus is gonna go where, so we know where to put the power washers. Cause we were thinking 2 or so.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about, was
Yeah.
splitting the base, and with a 100-foot reel on them, you could get to any truck internally.
Okay, yeah, alright, so we'll put
What
them
did we
on
say last time? I thought one
It
in the
was like
front
in the
corner,
bottom-
one in the back.
bottom
Yeah,
left, top right.
Diagonals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
diagonals, okay,
Yep.
yeah. You have that marked?
I think so,
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think with the connections, right, we talked, there's the air reels per truck, right, also electrical per truck,
Yeah.
just to make sure
Yeah.
that's covered.
And I do think hose bibs right outside,
Yeah.
we'll want them on every side of the building with keys, and,
For
we
sure.
probably will not use them regularly, but when we want them, or the town's there, cause we're trying to replant trees or do something.
Okay, so preset style with the locked.
Yeah,
Assuming all the water in the bay is cold water for washing, or do you need warm water for anything?
We talked about that last time, I think.
at the power washers, we talked about hot water and doing hot water power washers, just so the
I think
winter
the-
time.
The power washers would have hot water
Yeah.
capability.
Is that awfully nice in the winter? I did it at my house and it's,
Oh, I love it.
you come
I
back
have
with
the same
frost
thing.
and snow and
Yeah.
ice chunks and just.
It sucks my hot water tank dry mighty quick, but but it helps.
It's better than standing around for 2 hours waiting for all the
Exactly.
ice to melt on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
truck, clean the truck, so.
All right, going over to plumbing fixtures. We're currently showing everything as wall-mounted fixtures with flush valves, so, you know, commercial flushing capacity. I feel like we talked last time about sensor versus manual control, or
Yeah,
we glazed over it.
I don't remember coming to a decision.
I don't know if we got an official verdict. I mean, we're seeing a lot of manual fixtures going in, with the exception of maybe in the decon toilet room sensors in there. It's ultimately your preference. We can do whatever you want, really.
Some people like it, some people hate it.
So
Yeah.
I think for the toilets and stuff, I'm okay manual.
Okay.
I do think some of the sink stuff makes sense with sensors.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, just from a hygiene point of view, people aren't touching it, you're cleaning your hands. And like the soap dispensers, right, that we put in, automatic.
Yeah, and
But-
we can have those be hardwired, so you don't need to switch a battery.
Yes, same thing here, blowers, hand blowers we should do versus paper towel, like I see in here, it's constant. Right, we didn't do them here, we should have. And it's always, you pull one paper towel out, you get 35, which you don't need now, you have piles in the garbage can of unused stuff, so I do think hand dryers we should do in these.
Yeah, no problem.
I like automatic especially in the front of house toilet rooms that are used by the public and stuff for the sinks, like you're saying, Craig. I guess from an operational standpoint, in the shower rooms, you might want something more manual though, where you can leave the water on. You might,
Yeah.
if you're gonna brush your teeth or shave in there or whatever, like you don't wanna be playing with an automatic one there.
No, I think
No,
for,
agree, good
yeah,
call.
the showers, absolutely manual. I think for decon, if you're coming in, the sensors are absolutely fantastic. To be able to get in to get cleaned up without
Right.
touching
Yeah,
anything more than you do.
Right.
For the public restrooms.
But in the bathroom area, shower, locker room cleanup, yeah, that does make a lot of sense to have
You
it.
guys ever have a need to brush your teeth in there or something
Yeah.
like that, but you
Yeah,
probably
you're
don't.
constantly
Not gonna be
under
like
it.
waving the thing.
That one, no.
Okay, so you think in those public toilets, we would do sensors on everything?
Sure,
Yeah. And for the locker room, and no.
yeah, do automatic, do manual.
But still sensors on the sinks in the
In the restroom, the locker room area, no.
okay.
That's all.
These
All
are
right.
manual.
Okay.
Do all manual.
So we're doing the split based on
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Public will be sensor all only,
It's a good call.
fire department will be manual.
Mhm. And then the decon rooms would be automatic censored, so you're coming in, you can get at water without touching anything.
Yes. Yep. That makes sense. Okay.
What is accessible transfer shower?
So that is why I said transfer shower, because we don't have a transfer type shower in here, but it's essentially, it's a 36 by 36 stall, and you can pull a wheelchair up to it, you have the clearance in front, and then there's a seat on the inside, and you can move somebody in there, but we don't have any ADA transfer type showers, they're all just roll-ins, so I think that might just be a typo.
Yeah, it could have been carried from something else.
Yeah, because we've done them on a few different projects.
And where are you proposing the eye wash?
In the decon room.
In the decon room, okay.
Accessible apparatus, trench drains, yeah, I think everything.
And the clothes wash dryer can go into the septic, it's only the gear wash
The washer.
dryer
Yes.
that you're putting into the.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Alright.
No disposals in the kitchen, right? We're not proposing any
Disposal.
garbage
Oh,
disposal
garbage, no,
with the
so
septic, right?
we have, so the kitchen's gonna need some type of grease interception.
Yeah.
You can't have garbage disposal and a grease interceptor at the same time.
Gotcha.
Propane water heater with temperature maintenance cable, so that's obviously to maintain, keep at the fixture. I don't know if you guys have talked about that versus recirc and maybe
pros and cons of that.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because I don't think we did talk about it. We've been doing more of the temperature maintenance cable here in our office, but if anybody has strong feelings about, you know, a circulating loop of the hot water, sometimes when your plumbing needs are kind of spread out, the temperature maintenance cable is a better solution. But we can go either route. It's a somewhat recent code requirement to basically gets away from needing to run water for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water at your most remote fixture. So that the code requires that you be able to get hot water within.
Yeah, the Instahots and whatever they, yeah.
Well, that is the other solution. You could put the water heating local
Right.
to every
Local.
location. It's not currently what we're proposing.
Do you do something, a split, right? Do you do like the Instahots at like the sinks and the bathrooms, like the public restrooms, and do you do some kind of a system for the rest of the building circulating?
You can have them look at that.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, right, those public restrooms will probably get the least amount of use, so you don't necessarily need to constantly have the hot water through there and keeping it, and the Instahots may be more efficient.
What does it mean, temperature maintenance cable? What does that?
So basically there's three ways to make sure that you get hot water at any given fixture within a short amount of time. Either you heat the water right at the fixture with an Instahot, or you have a loop of hot water that circulates all around and you're just tapping off of that locally, or you get rid of the loop, but you run basically a heat trace cable, a piece of electrical cable that gets hot up against the water so that maintains the warm temperature within the pipe.
And from an,
They all use energy.
I was gonna say, from an energy efficiency point of view, which is the most energy efficient?
I think that may vary depending on exactly how the layout is, and some of it is initial cost versus operating cost too. To create that loop, you're putting more copper in the building to start with. I'll ask Jim to double check that, because it may
And
be
also
that
from a
mix.
maintenance point of view, quite honestly, too.
Right.
What's, the heat
Well-
tape thing scares me a little bit, right?
My 2 cents is that is definitely less expensive upfront,
Mhm.
but it is a maintenance issue over time. Those things are gonna fail, and then it's
Tearing
under the-
ceilings.
It's under the insulation of the piping and everything. The recirc loop is very robust. It's just a little circular pump, no different than you have on your your boiler at home, a little Taco circular pump. So they're very reliable.
Are we doing all copper? We're not gonna do PEX?
That's a good question on the next step. I mean,
Same
that is
question.
usually our initial swag is copper everywhere, but then when we start talking about wanting to save money, so he's talking copper everywhere, but
That's on the next page.
more and more often we start down that route, and when we're looking to save a few bucks, we talk about PEX, so. You guys-
I mean, PEX right now, if I read correctly, I've just been doing a bunch of it because I bought a second house that has all PVC pipe in it. And it's at its end of life. So, but PEX still has an end of life on it, right? They say it's only probably a 20 to 30 year. If we're trying to build this as a 50-year building, we should be looking at copper, I would think.
We can always revisit it if we get to the value engineering portion of the project.
And it's not, this building should not have to worry about freezing it. Next,
No.
there's a little more flexibility in
Correct.
the residence, where you may not have backup electricity.
It's also gonna depend on the quality of the water, because I've seen situations where the water's corrosive enough that it eats through the copper pipe.
Hopefully we'll know about that up front and get.
Right, and we put the softener in,
Hopefully, very flexible.
which I also just went through.
Similarly, along that line of robustness, we are currently proposing cast iron for all of our vent piping. we talked about storm piping, we only have that one small area of roof, which I think we determined we'll need roof drains, we can't.
There'll be a centralized, drain that has a secondary drain attached to it, and, in looking at, just kind of diving into the architectural side a little bit, but in looking at the preliminary detailing, my first pass through of how the assembly would come together, I determined it would be easier to detail that central vestibule area if we eliminate the parapet that's there and just make it flat. And then that way you don't need like a scupper or anything for the water to run off through. The secondary drainage is effectively the water running off the edge of the roof. So.
Not a huge fan of flat roofs, but
There's
if
only
it's
a
a
little-
small little
It's
area,
only a little bit on this project.
It's just the connector there.
yeah,
That central area.
Well, I love the flat roof at the elementary school.
Yeah, and you may just want it for the storm pipe, right? That also will tie into our 15,000 gallon.
But now it will, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Fire protection, kind of went through the big part of that. We'll have that 30,000 gallon fiberglass underground storage tank. He had vertical diesel turbine driven, but this is an electric driven fire pump.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thank you, yeah.
Carryover. And we'll have no hydrants on site.
So consequently, you're not gonna need the diesel tank either.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It will be a fully sprinkled building. We don't anticipate the need for dry sprinklers anywhere. It'll be concealed everywhere that has a ceiling to conceal it above.
My favorite question on fire department projects is where you put the fire department connection.
Up front,
For you guys to pull out and hook up to.
if you can pull out, but it'll the next town coming in to hook up just in case.
Currently, it's right by the front entrance.
Which front entrance? The training room?
Right over here. We can look into potentially having that relocated somewhere on the front facade, if that's more ideal.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of seeing it, but I'm a fan of easy access. To me, it should be
It's,
close to the bays in the front. Where, God forbid, ever is needed, next town comes in, hooks up right there, starts flowing water right in front.
okay,
Take the apron and use it.
so,
No going around back, no trying to get in the parking lot over here.
so towards the
Just
apron,
right in the middle.
the front apron, okay.
And are you guys a Siamese or a Storts connection town?
Yeah.
I was just thinking. Let's go Storts.
Stores?
Yeah.
Right.
There was some.
Into electrical.
Yep.
So, I know last time we talked about how it could be possible that this thing would need an 800 amp service. We're still optimistic that that'll actually end up at a 600, but we haven't crunched all the numbers yet. So we'd rather keep the slightly bigger space and the slightly bigger generator space in place. And if it gets smaller, that's a lot easier than suddenly saying we need 3 more feet somewhere. So,
It's gonna depend on your fire pump.
the fire pump,
The
fire
surge
pump's certainly a
needed
big
to start
driver.
it.
Yeah, and fire stations are they're energy hungry buildings. You got compressors, and you got lots of things that charge, and so it adds up. But regardless of whether it's 600 or 800, we will need that pad mounted transformer that we're showing on the site plan. We'll have the main electrical gear and some sub panels in the main electrical room. We typically scatter a couple other sub panels around just to keep your branch circuit wiring short. We're proposing, again, if we stay at 800 amps, we'd be looking at a 150 kW diesel fired generator. He says propane could be considered as an alternate, but based on last time, we'd rather stick with the diesel. 48-hour day tank, I think, was the decision that we came up with last time. Now that's 48 hours at full load.
Capacity, yeah.
And
We'll
you
never
know,
hopefully run it at that.
that would probably give you a week worth of fuel under normal operating conditions. Let's see, so we
Sorry,
are,
what's that?
I have payroll, I know it's kinda too late, but I'm trying to find the TC Dropbox.
Town clerk Dropbox is outside the front doors.
So not the main door that I came through the other one?
No, the main door that you came in, on the right.
It's a little,
You want me to go?
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
I believe what we decided was we are not providing solar array as part of the design, but we are prepping the building so that it's ready for that to be installed and connected. Our lighting, you will see a lighting layout in that DD set of documents. Most of the living quarters areas are based on a standard 2x2 LED recessed fixture. We've got some recessed downlights in some of the smaller areas. I think there's one space anyway that we're working with the architecture for, a slightly different ceiling treatment. But everything will be LED based. The apparatus bays or any of your areas where we'd be looking at the possibility of water, we'll have a vapor tight style fixture that's sort of acrylic lensed sealed type fixture. Some of the mechanical type spaces where we're not worried about water would just be a regular LED, wraparound. It's still a lensed fixture, but all LED based. We've got pole lights around the parking lot. There's a couple of bollards, I think, proposed to light some sidewalk areas. We typically have been doing, and this may be moving into the lighting control piece of it, but while I'm thinking about the exterior lighting, so onboard controls for those pole lights are common and are inexpensive now. And if we put those on, it allows us to have those lights on all night if you want, but have them knocked down to 20 or 30% of their output. When they sense motion, they ramp up to full. We find that especially attractive for fire stations, especially with a volunteer component where you may have people rolling in. Too much pay. Everybody cash here?
Now you're gonna force me to go get my keys, so I
Right.
can
That's what I was thinking.
put it into an office.
So that is something we like to incorporate into these with that automatic control again. So that your entry, your drive, your sidewalks will never be totally dark. But by knocking it down to 20 or 30%, you help to avoid neighbor concerns.
I like that idea. The question would be, is it based on front, rear, or is it once one sensor goes on, they all go on around the whole
We
building?
can do them either way. There are networked ones that talk to each other so that any sensor triggers them all. It's more common to have them just as individuals. So as you hit this one, it comes on, and then the next one picks you up and it loops around.
Or you maybe zone it, side of the building lights up, so if one car just pulls in, it lights up that area. So it's an ambulance call, they only pull into 2 spots up front versus people start to pull around back. It does it as a kind of a batch.
I'm pretty sure that is a capability of these units, of these network systems.
And where I was going is you go in the front door, but then you back out the back to make sure that triggers on if you're gonna be working out there, packing hose or something
Yeah.
for elongated times, so.
Yeah.
Right. So each space will have standalone controls, but we are basing them off of a network controller. So you walk into a space, you've got a dimmer switch, you can turn the lights on and off. There's occupancy control in there to shut the lights off. But those controllers will be talking back to a central brain, which will give you the ability primarily for fire station to be able to do a station alerting control of spaces. So Whether you have that now or whether you bring it in later, it's just an input that goes into this network controller and it gets programmed. So if we get signal 1, the bunks all come on. Signal 2 turns on, whatever. By tying everything back to a central network, it allows you to do whatever you want.
Tie that back to the exterior lights.
So that the station alerting controls the exterior lights?
Yeah.
I believe we could, yeah.
Probably. I think we've done a few different.
It's a good idea. Yeah, if the tone's dumping, we like the inside, people are coming from the outside, guaranteed, so.
Let's make sure they don't trip on that, just in case. And then they can be motion after that, but.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can get those network controllers, or I know the network controllers can control the exterior lights, and I'm pretty confident you can also get the onboard control at the same time. So we'll look at that.
Emergency lighting,
Individual or centralized?
We
like I only see one transfer switch, so are you doing batteries on that? Or
so
are you gonna put in a life safety branch?
what we have done for most emergency facilities is taken the approach that we don't need a separation of life safety versus non-life safety because the entire facility is considered life safety.
Oh, wow.
Most of our building officials have bought into that solution. So the generator is then
Running
providing your
100%.
emergency lighting. You don't need any batteries. Now, sometimes we'll get a request to say, can you give us a battery in the electrical room and the IT closet, just in case all hell breaks loose? So sometimes we'll do that. What we do incorporate when we do this is a UL 924, what they call bypass relay. So that would automatically drive on lights in your true egress path. So your corridors, vestibules, that kind of stuff. If you switch over to emergency power, would override on.
Okay.
One thing I'll tell you that you're not gonna like.
Can we get specs on your proposed lighting controls manufacturer
Sure.
and see what you're looking at?
Those folks are happy to come in and do little demos and stuff too, if you should want to take it that far. The key to lighting control systems is, that you spec it properly with all the sequences and stuff in there, that it gets installed by somebody who knows what they're doing, and that it gets commissioned properly. Because they're more complicated than a toggle switch that's just on and off, right? And if they don't get set up right, they're a problem. Not a lot to talk about with the fire alarm system. We'll have a fully addressable fire alarm system throughout the space. We're gonna need some CO detection because of the sleeping quarters. Some of our air handling systems will be big enough to need duct smoke detectors. We'll have a mix of smoke and heat detection throughout and manual
Firelight.
stations. What's that?
Firelight.
Is that a preferred manufacturer?
Yes.
Okay.
Sensors in the hood system.
If I see Simplex show up, I'm gonna fight it. Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't even
Time
start
too.
that discussion. Ed and I will fill you in someday.
so often when we're trying to avoid the Simplex Siemens battle, we say we're going to list 3 manufacturers, and we list Firelight, Notifier, and Silent Night. Edwards is also.
We just want a non-proprietary system that multiple people can work on,
Yeah.
right? But Firelight is the preferred town.
And it's honestly better to be consistent with the schools and everything.
Correct.
Folks coming in to try to reset them, we don't have to learn 4 different systems too, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So the technology systems, we've got the dedicated room, we'll have the racks built into that space. We're anticipating you'll want Wi-Fi coverage pretty much throughout the facility.
Yep.
We will have speaker system, PA system throughout the facility. Typically, we would have that set up to take inputs from the phone system and from your radio system.
Yeah.
We're anticipating a small local sound system for the training room. I forget if we talked about that last time. Basically, a couple extra speakers and a microphone input.
Yes,
I think we talked about having the video and everything else set up in that room, right?
correct. We will want to set this up as a true technology room, Zoom, Teams capable.
And I guess going back to all of this, we know that you guys have some
We do.
onboard vendors.
Yep.
We'll want to, obviously meet with them.
Yep.
And we can talk as we get down the road. Typically we want to show it all on our drawings, and then we can define, what is being specifically provided by a vendor through the project, outside the project, however you want to do it. You can save a little, markup if you are, paying those vendors directly. It can still be from your money as far as we're concerned anyway. So
We can work the contract directly, and then depending on which way we go, whether it's CM or GC, we'll just have to coordinate the work.
Right.
Okay. We know we'll have some kind of electronic security here. We've got access control. We're anticipating cameras. I think there's a tech drawing as part of the set that is showing, card reader locations, cameras. That's just our initial swag.
I'll take that, and that's my area.
Right. Yep.
I have a
Break out
vendor,
the
I have a
different
vendor
color
that'll
highlighters.
actually do us a whole spec sheet for it and everything. For us.
We're gonna do like we have now, cameras inside.
Yeah, we'll do access cameras.
And if you'd like, we can start setting up some side meetings, so that you, me, and my electrical engineer can start touching base and start coordinating some of these things.
All right. With that, unless you guys have any questions or further comments on the MEP, Eric can bore you with colors.
The colors.
Help me with possible motion sensor inside under technology.
I think that's actually related to security. I mean,
What, to turn on what?
on the intrusion
Intrusion.
side. I don't know whether you'd have.
We
that.
won't do an intrusion system.
Okay.
It would create more issues for people coming in at night. We'd have constant false alarms going off. But between the cameras and, we can actually set up stuff through the access and the cameras if we get alarms.
No, thanks for asking.
Okay. Colors.
All right, so we've started getting an interior designer involved with the project, kind of start going through some of the spaces, start worrying about finish applications. Overall, the finishes are fairly simple throughout. This first slide here is just kind of covering general color palette. It's got some nice neutral tones in there with some warmness from that red, as well as a way to bridge the gap with some wood highlights here and there. Now that wouldn't necessarily be actual wood, but it could be if you want wood doors on the hallways or in some of the ancillary spaces. If you start going through some of these renderings, and they come out a little bit darker when they're printed, but we're thinking like for in the hallways, a flooring of like LVT. It's nice and durable. Will withstand a lot of foot traffic, especially if the guys are running towards the apparatus bays to get to the trucks quick from the bunk rooms. You can actually, if you flip to page A160 right here, you can see this is the finished floor plan right here, so you can see where some of these various finishes are applied. So we're thinking LVT for the floor in the hallway and the corridor lobby areas. The hollow metal doors and frames, we're thinking a dark gray color or maybe even a black with a gray base, or vice versa. Something that's very simple, and then that will allow an accent color of some kind to pop right here.
I personally lean more towards a gray. black is not forgiving,
Okay.
right? When you look at scratches or
We
banging up
can look at
against
like
it.
charcoal colors
Yeah.
and gray colors for sure.
Or gray, maybe black accents somewhere.
Yeah, and that you could accent it, but anywhere people can touch, bang up against.
How are we feeling about the red? That's my main question when it comes to the finishes. Normally, that's usually our default when it comes to applying some type of accent color. Believe it or not, in some other departments that I've been working with for their firehouses, I have a hard time getting any color out of them. So, any feedback
It's fine.
is
I need to
appreciated.
digest a little on the red. I think it's a little bright.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if it's a blue, you know, just
We can
something a
al-
little more neutral than
Yeah,
red.
we can
I know
always.
it's a firehouse, so I'm not knocking the red, but we got a lot of red
Yeah.
trucks sitting out in the bays, so.
That's why it's our default, you know. But yeah, we can if there is a preferred color or aesthetic, we can definitely work with that for sure. And then we
And
can,
I think it also depends on the darker colors can make corridors and stuff look very narrow,
yes, yeah.
right? So we just need to be cautious of, and
For
I am
sure.
far from a colored person, but
For sure, I totally agree with you. You know, primarily the primary paint throughout is a white. The accent color, which in this case is the red in the image right here, is in very few select spaces, just to kind of break it up a little bit. Everything is primarily white throughout.
I mean, there's also a difference from what the rendering is showing with that red versus what you show down here for an accent red.
I think
Right?
it.
It's a very different.
Yeah, I think
red.
it printed incorrectly, sadly. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter in the rendering itself.
Because
We
the
can-
rendering is more like a fire truck versus your accent color
There's more.
is a
We
more
can-
of a roof, yeah.
We can definitely do a more neutral maroon color if that's more preferred.
Yep.
I think it would.
No American La France red.
Yeah.
But you can see right here with this shot right here, this is looking down that main corridor.
Yeah.
So
That's better, yes.
we tried to keep, you know, nice and bright throughout. Some of the doors I think we're showing as a wood color, or as a wood finish. Of course, we can always change that back to be hollow metal or
I
so.
kind of like the wood accent on the doors.
The wood brings some warmth into the.
Yep.
It does, right, and I think it's an easy way to bring warmth. The only question I have is the white, right, so again, we're not gonna be clean, right, we're gonna be, you know, granted, we're supposed to keep the gear out of this whole area too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if like a linen or something like that, like a off-white may
So
help keep it looking cleaner longer.
not strictly white, but like an eggshell.
So
Yeah,
I
eggshell
also-
or tan, but something that's bright white is never gonna stay white for
Yeah,
more than
yeah.
a day.
Understood. Yeah.
It's just not.
And we could also do like we did here, right? Where we do a different color down lower.
Yeah, we can
And
have.
protect, right? Maybe it's a little darker down lower where you're banging up against it or a little more.
Yeah, if you'd like us to, rather than just doing a simple rubber base throughout, we can explore some wall protection options and maybe have a wainscot at some point, you know, to signify some type of wall transition if you.
Because there
Like to see
could be
like a-
carts coming down the hallways and stuff that it would just help protect the walls a little bit. This has held up incredibly well, quite honestly. The custodial guys do a great job keeping it clean and, but,
Yeah, we can definitely look into that for the corridors, you know, like we can, you know, do something similar.
It's only
over
two
here.
corners,
it's
so-
only, it's not a
Is
lot,
it
right?
short
We're
and a
not
long corridor?
talking
That's it.
No,
a space anything even like this.
No, not at all, yeah. We can definitely explore that. So yeah, we'll look into something that's a little bit more off-white. In terms of the lobby corridor areas, one of our main questions right now is any type of display units, shelving, tack boards, display boards.
I'm thinking
So on and
we
so
want
forth.
some kind of display
Yeah.
board. I think the display board's probably the classiest way to go.
Any like trophy
Maybe we could follow
cases?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's usually kind of a standard with a lot of departments. We can kind of go over those locations a little bit if you want to mull it over.
yeah, I mean, even one side and one side of the hall, right? Trophy
Yeah.
cases when you come in front of you,
and
whatever on the back.
And it'll help break up this hallway a little bit, because this is for a building this size, it is a fairly long stretch of hallway. So that'll help break up the space a little bit more, make it seem less monotonous.
And then you can throw somebody like your friends in, I don't know, help them.
For sure, yeah, yeah. And
And that's
that's,
gonna be a bright side of the building too. That's gonna be the afternoon sun, it's full sun there.
Right. 100%. So we can look at some display case locations, and some, display boards of some kind. Any tack boards or anything like that?
I almost think you put it up within a display case versus a straight open tack board.
So a display case with like a tack, with a, like a cork back.
Yeah, something inside it.
Yeah.
I think in the bays you'd want an open deck.
Yeah, in the
On the
bays,
wall.
yeah, but in the lobby itself,
Okay, so yeah, with the cork back, it's with, actual tack board is. Alright, so that's good, that's good. And yeah, we'll look at wall protection / wainscot. For maybe 4 feet or so. Okay, so that's all good stuff, all good stuff. Going over to the training room, so this is where some of those wood tones really start to come in. And you'll know, I'm sure all of your eyes are drawn to this wall over here where the TV is and display is. This is all acoustical treatment, so that'll help with noise control in the space. Alternatively, we also have been looking at an option where it's just kind of in the center of that wall, and then that way it could allow for whiteboards or writing surfaces on the sides. And that is ultimately up to your preference, whether you'd rather have a standard whiteboard or maybe one that's on wheels. We've also started seeing paint that's applicable to surfaces where you can
just
write on the walls, and even sometimes it's even magnetic.
Yep.
We can explore that option as well. I figured I would open that up to you in terms of what your preference may be.
I would expect for a room this size, right, we're probably putting a 80 or 90 inch TV on that wall.
Yeah, pretty
if we're
big.
not gonna do projection onto the wall.
Definitely bigger than
So
I think what we're
bigger
showing.
than what you're showing here, for sure. Which may fit better into the split wall, with the white on both sides.
I
and
agree.
Make it, frame it better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so we can, it'll definitely be a larger display. And if we do decide to, if you are leaning towards going with the split wall and just having that center section be acoustically treated, we could probably relocate or add some more locations of those acoustical panels on the outside wall or one of the other walls as
Yeah,
well.
but you got
And-
carpet on the floor and you got hung ceiling, that's gonna.
Carpet's
It will
gonna
help,
absorb.
yeah.
It's gonna, it definitely helps. I'm only throwing it out there because you'd be surprised that this acoustical product is actually fairly affordable.
Yeah.
It's the cost per square foot is lower than I thought it was when I was going over it with interiors, so we can.
And it looks, what cracks me up is you look at it and you're like, holy cow, that's gonna be really heavy, and you pick
Yeah.
it up and it's like this piece of paper.
It's like the packet of
Yeah.
papers. I
So
hate.
the other thing, I'm just thinking out loud from a technology point of view, if we're truly gonna turn this into a MTR Zoom type room, we may actually want dual monitors on the wall,
Mhm.
right? We may want 2 dual monitors, so if you are displaying, just like we had up here, you could see the people, plus have your presentation up. So I do think we'll have to think through how we set this up.
For sure, yeah. So in that case, I mean, we could try to make it, we can see what it looks like with the 90-inch displays, 2 of them
Yep.
on this wall, side by side with each other. See how much space we have left on the sides in terms of whiteboard space. And there's always the option of fitting a whiteboard on the
Back wall there.
on the back wall over here, and also on the kitchen wall in between that transfer window and the door for storage. So we can look into that a little bit more.
I think fitting the technology in is more important. We could do whiteboards on wheels, making sure the room is gonna function correctly.
Understood. Okay. Understood.
And to your point earlier, this is a key room for light dimming, shades,
Yep.
all of that.
Yeah, so we're gonna have automatic roller shades up on the windows. The windows will be tinted.
Okay.
They're gonna be tinted. Yeah, we'll have everything on dimmers and controllable switches like that.
Also, in-floor power boxes, so if we're
Yes.
setting these tables up, right, we wanna make sure we have flush mounted. So if you wanna use it for something else, you can, but
For
we
sure.
can set the tables up.
We'll have some,
And data.
yes, there
And
will be,
data.
there will be data in those boxes as well. I think Michael's showing 6 of them at the moment. We can always up that too if.
Yeah, okay. And I haven't looked at the MEP plans at all, so,
Sorry, flies attacking me.
Okay.
Moving on to the next space, we have the day room here, which has a warmer LVT tone. So, same material that's going into the corridor, but it's brighter. This red panel that's on the wall back here is also acoustic. If that's desired, we can also just take that out if need be, if it's a little strong. But they also have a wide range of colors too.
Okay.
I think it'll be beneficial for that room, right, just to kind of block some of the noise, especially if there's an event going on and guys are working, right? Just to kind of silence the noise. I don't know about it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like the
that's-
warmer colors. I actually like the wall colors you're showing here, even for the training room too,
Mhm.
versus the white. Because again, you're gonna have a lot of sun in that corner.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And I also think we have to think, this is one area, we gotta think about furniture, right?
Yes.
It's functional, this couch is not functional.
No, the
It looks pretty, but.
the furniture
I
is.
guarantee you, not after an hour. It's
No, I completely agree with you.
So-
Interiors just kind of threw that in there for, sizing of space and everything, but, yeah, that's something where, our interior designer would probably like to schedule a meeting with you just to go over exactly what you want to have functioning in there. If you want a dining room table, a round table, 6 chairs, a more functional couch,
I think it's a
recliners.
combination, right? The room's gonna be used for different purposes.
Exactly.
Most of the time, you'll have 2 or 3 people in there watching TV,
Right.
off hours versus, sitting down at a little table to have dinner, that kind of stuff. So it's gonna have to be a multifunctional room.
for sure.
What are your thoughts on LVT versus carpet tile in that room?
I kinda like the LVT from a cleaning point of view versus the carpet tiles. As much as you could rip up a 2x2 tile and replace it when they drop shit, it's only gonna take about a week for that to happen. So-
You're doing food in there on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, people working there, they're.
And I would do,
A couple meals a day.
throw rugs maybe in there versus something to just break it up a little bit.
For sure.
You can even do by area, like open space at your house, you have the dining area.
Yeah.
Right, rug,
Good.
sitting area, lounge area.
Yeah, we can definitely explore that a little bit more. Like I said, we can always get a separate meeting scheduled just to go over furniture layout and finish colors, things like that. Moving on, we have a screenshot of bathrooms here. Very simple. We have tile on the wet walls, and can't really see it in this view, but in this view over here, you can see that there's tile on that wet wall right there. Individual vanities, we don't have a one combined vanity for the 2 sinks, but we can do that if that's preferred.
I'm just thinking about, some kind of storage too in these rooms.
Yeah, you're thinking like some type of like a piece of casework or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you thinking under sink cabinet?
Under sink cabinets, maybe, type of thing.
Yeah, we would be able to do under sink cabinets under one of the sinks. One of them would still need to be open for ADA.
accessibility, yeah.
So,
But at least you have some emergency supplies.
but yeah, we can look at doing some
'Cause I'm
work in
thinking-
there.
Well, you're not gonna
There's
need,
2.
you're not gonna need paper towels, cause you got air.
Yep.
You're just gonna need
Toilet
paper,
papers and
soap.
maybe some
soap,
cleaning
soap.
supplies and that. Cause if, there's 2 restrooms, right? There's the inside ones and the public ones. The public ones, there may not be somebody there. You have a large event, something happens versus that we could have a supply closet in back for our, in-house ones.
Yeah, we can look at making these more millwork based vanities rather than just the our typical wall mounted sinks. We care,
floor,
that looks like me a little bit, but.
one thing we didn't talk about here was in all the restrooms, floor drains.
Yes, floor drains. They're not there in the rendering, but they're gonna be
I
there.
saw the one.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the plumbing plan. Yeah, yes, no, we always make sure to include floor drains in the restrooms.
I like the color scheme.
I do too, I don't mind it.
The red looks good, I think, with some of the darker colors.
Yeah,
It-
the tan.
Yeah, but we totally understand if it's a little strong. We did carry it into the bathrooms on the partitions. We can always revisit that too. That's always an easy one. Moving on past
The
that.
bathrooms, it's only the stall partition, so there's not as much of it.
Yeah, and
It's more of an accent.
and the partitions can be very flexible in what you can get. There's, of course, the floor mounted system like we show there, or there's ceiling hung, or there's just wall connections. We usually default to the floor.
And you're thinking tile and grout in here?
That's usually what we go to, unless you have a specific preference in mind.
I'll leave that up to a new discussion, just from a cleaning point of, right? The tile and grout looks great when it's clean, but when it's not, it becomes a pain to keep. So just something we might wanna think about versus
Yeah.
a straight piece, even if has a tile look to it.
Epoxy surface.
Yeah,
Well, my experience is that that's usually the case with like white tile, like if you're doing like a straight porcelain or ceramic. With the tile that we have here, that's got some grays to it. The wall, it almost
the
looks
walls
white.
are fine, I think,
Yeah.
it's the floor.
Yeah,
That
it's-
white grout is gonna be,
Right, it's not the tile, it's
it's
the
the
grout.
grout.
It's always
We can,
grout.
the grout's an easy change. We can always, switch to something that's a little bit darker that will, be better for cleaning purposes and things like that. I think the tile will be okay.
Okay.
But if you prefer epoxy, we can always do that too.
I do too, yeah. Maybe the accent is a darker grout with the
That's
white
fine,
tile
yeah.
versus the white with the,
Just so it doesn't show the stains or
Yeah.
dirt.
Right. So, and then office finishes. The office is it's fairly straightforward. We have carpet tile in there, the white again, the ACT. The furniture or desk units that we have in there are an opportunity to kind of bring some of those warmer tones into that space, since there's not really any windows in that warm open office room. Of course, we have windows in the chief and deputy chief offices, so that's a little bit easier to work with.
The lighting got like a lighter color, carpet.
A lighter color on the carpet. We can always explore that too. Yeah, it does look a little dark.
it is, yeah, especially in a closed room like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we can,
Because even like the training room was much brighter.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to that, I actually like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
Dark enough not to show stains, but
We didn't spend a lot of time on finishes and colors in this building, and I was kind of blown away when we came in here after it was done, because I think you guys did a really great job.
yeah, look, I've said it right along, in this building, the design side of it, Silver did a great job. I'll argue a little on the MEP side,
Right, me
right,
too.
because we're still fighting that today.
Yep.
But, lessons learned from our point. But yes, I think you guys did a fantastic job on the design, so I don't want to take that away.
I wish they could have saved the cathedral ceiling, the curved ceiling, that was beautiful.
You can walk
And it's
upstairs and
today,
see it.
beautiful.
It's still there.
Oh, I know it's still there. I got a picture of it, when they open up and they cover it, I went, no!
Yeah.
well, if you prefer, in terms of colors and color scheme, if you prefer something that's a little bit more along these lines, we can kind of.
I think you guys come back with your suggestions in a full scheme and then we.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Maybe just a couple options, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not an interior decorator, I hire one, right? And I'll be honest, right? And so if you have a couple options where we can say, hey, we really like this,
Yeah.
you're getting a little of our feedback.
Sure.
We can visualize
Right.
it, because I'm not gonna be sitting here thinking, I think this is a taupe room. No, that's not gonna happen.
But we also,
But we appreciate your input on it.
Of course.
the other thing you guys did a great job with here was, remember, all the furniture was donated. So we knew the colored chairs, we knew this stuff. So we had it sitting in the gym and you guys built around that, right? To make sure that it was a green, but we had an accent that was gonna work with it and make the room look a little different.
You gonna have any furniture donated?
No, I don't know, I'm not sure right now, but
Get back to you.
I'll get back to you.
Work your magic.
Well, yeah, we can, we'll come back with a few different options for you. We can always, schedule a meeting to go over some of those items for sure.
You do some of this walk style too, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should be able to pull up the model and kind of go through it a little bit. It might be a little rough around the edges.
Maybe some of the other firehouses you've done, if you just have pictures of the colors.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're seeing it live and done, you can kind of get a better sense of what it looks like.
Well, and we talked about doing walkthroughs of some of those firehouses you built, which was on my list to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we
Let's
can,
get those scheduled.
we can get those scheduled for you for sure. And we can, if it's under construction right now, but if you wanted to see one that is under construction, you could do that too. The last image that's in this group is the bedroom, which shows the window, and we're still kind of tweaking the layout of the space and everything. I get our one big question from our interior designer is furniture thoughts in those spaces in terms of like, I'm assuming a wardrobe will be desired to put some things.
Some kind of a little closet. I also don't love the full ground window in a bedroom.
Yeah, well, so the bottom section of that window will be spandrel glass, so you won't be able to see through it or anything. It's really just this section right here.
I'd even go higher.
You wanna go higher?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It should be above eye height, 6 feet or higher, that is open.
Okay.
That brings light into the room, but you shouldn't be able to see into it from the outside.
Okay, all right.
The other thing by doing that is if you're trying to sleep during the day,
Yeah, you can black out.
you can black it out a lot easier.
Yep. And the other thing from an MEP point of view, we should run and prep for little TVs in each one of these rooms for
Yes,
people sleeping in the rooms and stuff.
Okay, so TVs, wardrobe, desk unit of some kind.
I think it's good, yep.
Small
People
desk.
wanna go in and study or
Nightstand
do
for a
whatever,
lamp,
yep.
maybe a clock, something
Yep.
like that.
Small desk / nightstand.
Outlets for charging phones and all of that kind of stuff are gonna be key.
So smaller windows. So currently these windows, the transparent section of the windows are set to start at 3 feet. So we're thinking maybe 4 feet or 5 feet.
5 and go up, I would think.
Five to ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
The other thing we may wanna think about, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in all 4, but a couple of them, one of the male, one of the female, well, I guess we're doing them unisex anyway, right? So anybody can use any of them. But we should have little refrigerators in a couple of them.
Oh,
For
refrigerators.
medication, if we have somebody who's a diabetic, any of that stuff, to be able
Oh,
to
okay.
store their stuff.
We might be able to incorporate that into the wardrobe units.
Yeah, just somewhere.
Yeah.
Like my hotels have them all the time.
Correct.
Wardrobe unit, fridge, little
Yep.
spot if you wanna.
Yeah, and we can, rather than those being like purchasable units, they'd be millwork.
Yeah, and then if they wanna put a bottle of water in it for the night, so they don't have to get up and go to the into the fridge in the kitchen, that kind of stuff. So maybe we do them in all the rooms, quite honestly. If we're gonna do it, just keep them standard.
I'd keep them all the same, that way somebody's not complaining they have a problem.
Yep.
They're all the same.
Windows, these are all inoperable?
Currently they are inoperable. We can include
This
operability.
is a question, I don't know if you care.
No, I would keep them
I
inoperable.
would go no.
Okay.
Yeah. And what kind of protection are you gonna put on the other side of them, right? So if somebody doesn't smash through them dry, are we ballarding them outside or?
So we can put some bollards on the exterior if that's desired. Currently, so they're set pretty far back over here. Nobody's gonna be driving over here because, and I'm not
You
sure.
got all the mechanical stuff.
Well, we have mechanical
over
stuff on this
there.
side. It kind of secludes them pretty well. I don't know if Will mentioned this part in his demonstration, but there's a little retaining wall over here to preserve these
Gotcha.
trees.
Okay.
So in order for somebody to drive through those windows, they would have to veer off over the curb, jump this retaining wall and,
I just want them protected, right? Like here, it shows the car. You could back that car. Somebody accidentally throws the car in reverse. It's coming through the window in the wall, right? Or
Right,
at least
right.
part of the window. So, God forbid you're sleeping in there at ground level.
yeah, no, well, we can make sure that there's something there if there's not something actively protecting them. Currently, so I think this window right here is probably this guy, that location. So that's probably looking straight back into this parking space. So, we have the screening for the mechanical units over here. We could probably include like a bollard or two just along this walk area over here.
Even if it's to Kevin's point, a decorative rock, big rock or something that's out there that's decorative. Something that's just gonna stop.
Yeah,
You got another rock we could use?
There's a couple in town.
Exactly, we can find those.
if you want to put a rock there, yeah, we could.
I would say a rock, I mean, it
Yeah.
looks natural, it's.
Yep.
If it's big enough, you're not moving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could put a rock on that corner.
Yeah,
Walkway.
perfect.
It can be decorative, like to look nice or have something inside. So it doesn't look like a safety thing, but it is.
You okay with carpet in the bunk rooms?
Yeah.
Most people
Yep.
like it.
For sure.
Yeah.
You need a
We've had-
window.
I know
we've had-
And then
Colin
you're
Town
barefoot.
said, no, our guys are too much of a mess, I don't want carpet in the bunk
Really?
rooms,
I
I
didn't-
gotta make a wreck of it.
I didn't know that.
It's voluntary.
Fair enough, yeah.
And then really thinking about placement of our ducted heat and in
Yes.
those rooms, like where the bed is situated, how we set the room up, how it's not blowing on people.
Yes, yeah, no, wherever we settle on the bed's location, we'll make sure that, the diffusers and unit heaters are on the opposite side of the room.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I thought about when we talked about it earlier. Currently, the only source of heat right now is the 2x2 cassette in the room, so it's a forced air. You're getting hot air out of that. Since we have the boiler, can we add a radiant panel or something like that so that at night
Somebody could.
you don't have hot air hitting you in the face. It's just more of a natural heat you're used to in your house, that sort of thing.
Maybe the same with the AC in the summer, right, that people react differently with that blowing in your face too.
Yeah, and like usually people are a little bit more okay with like cool air coming off something in the summer because it'll be cooled down, but I don't know.
And this becomes very dry at night too. If you have that hot air blowing on you, it'll be very, very dry.
So I would just suggest looking at, obviously the window, the frame goes floor to ceiling, so you can't really do like a baseboard heat, but you can do like a 2x radiant panel.
Yeah, we can look at it. We can go over that with Addie. Trying to think of what else there was. So, I think that pretty much covers the interior finishes side of things. So, yeah, we'll get back to you with some more options in terms of color schemes and, what that accent color might be to make things pop. From what I'm hearing, it seems like the warmer tones throughout the spaces are welcome, and so we'll try to keep incorporating that as we go along. I think we have a good idea as to what your preferences are in terms of just general finish applications and which goes in what space. One thing we did not touch on today, and I was hesitant to show any 3D views of the apparatus bays until we got the structural model in there, which I got it in there today. So, we can provide that for the next meeting and show how that structures, the truss work is gonna look in the bays and in
The
relation.
natural lighting, all
Yeah.
of that.
Exactly, and then also what colors we decide to go with in the bay itself.
Flooring for walls.
Yeah,
What the
'cause
wall coverings look like, the height of them,
Yeah.
durability, all of that is
is key, yeah.
key.
Yeah, and currently, we have CMU in there that's gonna be epoxy painted. We can do some type of striping with the epoxy paint if it's desired on the walls. The floor is epoxy coating that, you can get pretty much any color you want. And we're showing some stripes in the apparatus space at the moment, and I guess one good question would be if there is a preferred color for the floor or the stripes there. We've seen yellow, we've seen red, We see yellow.
And then something that it stands out on based on the floor color.
Right, like whether it's gray, like,
Right, yeah.
gray and yellow. Again, just trying to stay consistent with the other stations too.
Of course,
so.
yeah. So you have gray and yellow at the other stations, so that
Yeah.
it'd be ideal to kind of keep that going throughout. Okay. Yeah, no, we can definitely make that work.
Those stand out, right?
As long as it stands out. Okay. Yeah, I've seen gray and yellow. Gray and yellow and gray and red are the two most prominent combination of colors I think we've gotten for epoxy flooring in the base. So yeah, we can
Stop
definitely include
lines.
that.
Do you have stop lines painted for the wheels or
No,
just
because it depends, we're gonna move,
if you move
trucks
trucks around, that's true.
Yeah, at the moment we just show lines going from top to bottom, centered on the bays. I think they're spaced 8 feet apart, or 8 or 9 feet.
Yeah, because
Wherever the
we'll
wheels
actually
are.
have true pull-through bays then too, so.
Yeah.
People would have.
And then we'd probably have a stripe on the sides on those ancillary areas just to show, hey, don't bring it this far to the left or right. So, yeah, we can we can provide some 3D imagery for the next meeting for that to kind of keep the discussion rolling. I'm trying to think of what else there was because that's all the physical materials. But was there any questions on interior finishes? Anything else?
No.
All right.
So you'll get us those half drawing sets
Yeah, I can get those ordered for you.
ordered up.
I can put the order in first thing tomorrow, and then
We'll
it'll
probably have them Monday or Tuesday.
probably Monday.
You want them delivered here?
Yeah,
that's-
deliver them here and then we can get them distributed out.
And we usually have to list a point of contact to notify that they were delivered. Is it okay if I list you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep. I will let Linda know they're coming.
And then should we specify anyone's office specifically?
First Selectman's office.
First Selectman's
Yeah.
office, okay. So my pen stopped working. Just gonna write that down, but thanks. Okay, so, and from an interior finishes perspective, that pretty much wraps that up. And architecturally, things haven't really changed too much. We're still proceeding as what was shown initially. I guess, you know, from an exterior perspective and an architectural perspective, the main difference that I'll point out, if we go to the floor plan A110, so you can kind of see that there are some ancillary mechanical mezzanine access spaces that are in the apparatus bay. Those are going to be very low cost. They're not going to be nearly as much cost as the rest of the building in terms of cost per square foot. They're there just to access and service some of the ductwork that's higher up in the apparatus bays. They'd be primarily sitting above, of course, this space and this space right here. So where I just outlined in red. You know, that'll be more clear when we start covering interior finishes in the apparatus space. That's probably the primary difference. And then there's also a mechanical attic space on the back side of the building over here. So that's where the DOAS unit is currently located. Initially, when we started laying out the MEP systems, we were gonna have the DOAS unit on the ground outside, but I have concerns with, you know, upkeep of the equipment being outside like that and also wall penetrations. It can make for pretty nasty detail. So, I mean, if we were to have it outside, you're pretty much looking at this mechanical enclosure right here doubling in size, and we'd have to relocate those parking spaces, which I'm sure you'd want to keep those parking spaces right where they are.
Parking spaces are pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially what that means is we have that mechanical access attic above in the backside of the building. It'll be acoustically treated. There's an access hatch in the laundry room that you'll be able to access it through. It'll just be, you know, like a little pull down standing ladder. and it'll be able to access that deck, which I believe sits 12 feet above finished floor. In addition to that,
It
there's.
is a pull-down set of stairs wide enough for getting replacement equipment up there and service equipment up there.
Glad you asked, because that was gonna be my next point. We've also included a set of double doors on the backside of the building to
Gotcha.
get things in and out.
Okay.
Those are your standard,
Yep.
your standard,
Barn-like looking doors.
yeah, 6 feet wide.
Yeah.
You open them up, you can get something in there, no problem.
You can do training there too.
Yeah, you can do training. There will be, like a removable handrail at that front of the door.
Front of the, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if you wanted to rappel from it, you could.
And how high are those doors?
12 feet.
12 feet.
Yep.
So you'll need something, you're not pallet jacking it up there,
No, you'll probably need to.
or forklifting it even.
No, you'll probably need something to lift it up and through, but to maintain proper ceiling height for the
That's right.
for the bunk rooms, or the
Yeah,
bedrooms.
yep.
We had to put that at 12 feet, so I don't know if there are any other questions on those items or anything. Those are the primary changes right now. So you can always reach out if there is anything else, but.
And from a space take-up point of view, do we need pull-down stairs, or can we do a ladder like we did here? Straight up ladder on the wall
Oh, just like
for
a
access.
just a straight up access ladder. I guess you could just do a straight up access ladder. I'd have to look a little bit more into the code, because when we've done this type of thing before, we usually put in a pull down. I can look at just doing like.
Cause like if you look
like a
in this
wall.
building, right, this right over here, right, we have an access ladder that goes up, another one, these are stairs over here, but.
Yeah, I think it depends on the output of the equipment up there. The DOAS unit, it's pretty heavy in
Yeah.
terms of BTUs. But it's also gas fired and not fuel fired.
Cause the only thing you'd honestly need to take up that way is people,
It's
right?
Yeah.
Everything else could come through the double doors,
Right.
so
You might go up the ladder if you're just doing filter.
with a tool bag or a but overall, it's not like you're carrying something big up the stairs. I'm just thinking from that laundry room taking up space, it's not like you could put cabinets there or anything if you have pull down stairs.
Right. Well, so currently on that side of the laundry room, the cabinets are on the other side, the pull down ladders on the far side or the corridor side, and right below it is the mop sink.
Okay.
The ladder currently folds up into the ceiling, so that keeps that entire area open.
Yeah.
It doesn't infringe on the door clearance or anything like that. When you pull it down, of course, it takes up the space, but I fear that with a normal ladder, it might affect the ceiling condition. It might make it a little bit less.
I
Aesthetically
leave
pleasing?
it to you guys, I just asked a question. But if the mop sink is in the corner and the fold down ladder comes down correctly and just sits on the edge of the mop sink, even it could tuck in the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It comes up and over, and the mop sink just sits
Perfect.
underneath. So. Any other questions or anything?
No, so, as far as next meeting, how long do you guys need to start to pull?
Probably 2 weeks, and then we can have the full DD set ready to go for you. I would think, and then we can start to go over the apparatus bay in terms of finishes. I don't know. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine with our crew. I mean, at this point.
Our crew is pretty far along.
Yeah.
Civil and food service, I think, are the ones that are a little bit farther behind. And I think that's just because civil is waiting on some, their soil tests, things like that. So I'd say we could reschedule for 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now would probably be fine.
Do you wanna give yourself 3 just to be safe?
If you're okay with giving us 3.
I'm just, I don't wanna come and not be able to go through it all.
Okay, yeah,
It
we'll
probably
say
also gives us the opportunity and time to
to digest.
digest all of the, especially if you get us the drawings.
Yes. Yeah.
Next week, so maybe we look at like, if I can get a meeting room, like Thursday the 9th, maybe?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
let me see what I can find for a room. The hardest part is when we have to have people dial in, because we only have really 2 rooms that do the Zoom capability. For recording and having people dial in. If everybody can come, it makes, then we have an option for rooms.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think after this meeting, it'll be less likely that somebody will need to dial in. I think, these first few meetings going through the design process, it was just really helpful to have them here for the direct correspondence between the committee and our consultants. But I think probably for the next meeting, it could probably just be.
It could be, but if we determine that there's something particular we really want to drill down on.
Yeah.
But I'll work to find a room, hopefully that we can do
Okay,
both.
that sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there's one that's just been nagging me, so I'm just gonna raise it. So, the parking on the map. I understand we have septic, right? Is there any chance to take these parking spots and kind of move them over more behind the bays?
Behind the bays?
Again, I understand there may be septic limitations, but again, if you're parked over here, you're gonna be coming in the door here to the bays. You're not gonna be coming through the bunk room in that side of the building. So you're gonna have to huff it all the way around and in.
We can, I can talk.
So I just wanna see if it's an option. That's why I raise it.
I can talk through it with Will. I mean,
Because then you're here coming straight into the building. 1, lighting, 2.
it
Less
would be,
chance of fall, slip, fall, all.
And if you can move them, do we just create, well, we do need, the more the better for
Yeah.
parking, quite honestly.
yeah, I mean, we can just,
But we do need,
we can try to fit as many
Yeah.
spaces in there as possible. I'll talk to Will and see what his thoughts are, if we can have parking given the current septic situation.
And maybe we have to wait for the septic to answer that question, which is
Yeah.
why I was hesitating to raise it earlier, but
It's a
I
good
just wanna
question.
put it out, so.
It's a good question, yeah. Yeah, we can look into that.
We in any difficulty as far as our impervious.
that's what we may have to move spots to keep your impervious space.
At the moment, I don't believe so. I feel like they brought that to our attention, but I think we're pretty good right now, given the zoning requirements.
I mean, on your average call that people would be rolling into, is it 6, 7 cars?
Could be 20.
It could be.
2 and it could
I'm
be
saying
20,
on
yeah,
average,
I
though,
mean-
yeah.
Yeah, probably average
7,
7 to 10,
10,
give or take.
yeah.
No, I'm just picturing, how many, if we can only capture a certain number.
Yeah.
No, good question.
No, but I think that, I forget about the calls, it's when they have their meetings, right?
Then it's just more
It's-
parking
it's
in general. doesn't
Parking
have to-
in general, yeah, cause it's gonna be a free-for-all, that's why I think it was good, we talked about the one-way, cause you have a 55-member meeting for annual, you're gonna have cars parked along this entire driveway, probably Oak Road,
Yeah.
out in front.
But for calls, that's the key, right?
Yeah.
That's our main job.
I'm just thinking about it now because I don't think Will touched on it. The dumpster location.
I did see it out and back there in the corner.
Yeah. Do you guys have a certain preference for where that may go? Do you think you need dumpsters? I think is my first
No.
question. You don't have them there right now.
No, I don't think we need them. Honestly, the paid guys take this stuff to the dump every day, or
They do?
every, when it's open, yeah.
So we could just take that out and
Yep.
probably fit in another
I was
space.
just gonna say, there's a parking spot.
It's not a zoning requirement.
I
No.
would have to double check, but
I don't believe it is.
I'm gonna write down take them out if we can.
If they put the dumpster there, then in a couple of weeks they disappear.
They disappear and they become part, just stripe it,
Enough to do
stripe it for the dumpster.
Just push it on the lawn.
Make the dumpster enclosure a little bit deeper, it's 2 more parking spaces.
Exactly. So,
Alright.
yeah, cause the paid guys do take the trash, every day that the dump's open, they take the trash,
Okay. Okay, good to know.
so. Okay.
I think that pretty much covers it on our end.
Move the dumpsters.
Sorry.
Did you move the dumpsters?
We're getting rid of them.
That was
our
what
office instead.
precipitated my one-way question.
Yeah.
Thinking
Yeah.
about the dumpsters.
Yeah, I got rid of them, probably put another space or 2.
Right, well, because you wouldn't be able, the dumpster company would be pulling in and backing in the whole
right.
way.
I think this location was assuming that would be a 2-way
Yeah.
potentially. When we were initially going over the floor plan, I think Will and his team had them over in this area over here. But yeah, if we don't need them, we don't need them, then that makes things a little bit easier.
Cool. Alright. Okay. Other business, so, going a little backwards, but Brad obviously has applied, right, to fill the role. So Brad, you just wanna give a little background on yourself for the
Sure.
group?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Brad Park. I originally grew up in Preston, Connecticut. I've lived in East Haddam now since 2018, give or take. Originally, I lived above Kindercare for a year or two, and then my wife and I bought a house up on Wickham Road. So that's where we live now. So been a resident for 7 years or so. My background is in this, industry. So I'm a principal for consulting engineering services for CES in Middletown. So we design MEP systems for buildings. So I assumed I could probably help out just because I do have a background in this. So that's why I applied.
Take it. So can I get a motion to recommend Brad to the Board of Selectmen to be appointed as the alternate member on the committee?
I'll make a motion.
Kevin, Ed, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Welcome.
Welcome. It'll take their next meeting, but to make it official, but
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
I guess my only question is, can you guys just give me a real high level of where things are at on this? Is this funded or
No.
does it still have to go referendum?
So what our goal was is we're funded to get it through
Design.
bid, design and bid. So, and then at that point, then we have a true number to go to referendum with.
Okay.
Because what we don't wanna do is go to referendum with a number and then have to go back.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so we're funded to get through bid,
Okay.
are funded to get through the bid process,
So we're going to bid in the spring type of thing?
hopefully sooner.
Sooner than that? Are you trying to go to a spring town, like a spring vote? Yeah.
Maybe even our late winter,
Oh.
yeah. We'd love to start demo in the early spring at the latest
Sure.
and move it forward.
Probably looking to go out to bid late February and
Yeah.
then be ready to go first week of April.
Is there a target budget at this point?
14 million is
And
what
are we
we've,
pricing at the end of DD? Or are we tracking that as we go?
so we've talked about we've actually talked about bringing in an external estimator at the end of DD to help us,
And we still recommend
yeah,
that that's the course that we go.
so,
No, I agree. I would suggest that just because that's, obviously you always put together a budget early on and there's so many unknowns and assumptions.
correct. Well, and what it does is it will give us at that point to VE stuff if
You're
we
gonna
have
have to be something, of course,
Which-
so.
I set aside like whole weeks just for value engineering in the initial schedule that we developed, so.
Yeah. We'll pull together some of the previous documentation for you.
Linda sent me a whole link to.
Oh, she
I
did?
didn't read it all
Okay.
yet, of course, but she did send me a link.
Yeah, so you'll see there's a budget in there. We're building off of what we've been approved for money so far. With Silver Petroselli.
Yep.
So. But yeah, hopefully fairly fast tracked at this point the building currently is falling down.
Yeah,
It's
no,
falling
I
down.
have kept up a little bit with it and went to some of the presentations and stuff, so yeah, it's needed for sure.
It's been a nightmare since.
Since they built it, exactly. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to avoid, right? The last thing we wanna do is build another one. So we wanna make sure we're building something that the town's gonna be proud of, it's gonna be functional. And it'll
It's gonna
last us 50 years or more.
Is there forgive me because I am a citizen of the town, so if this is being done and I haven't seen it, forgive me, but is there an effort to publicize this and to get favoritism towards that vote?
There will be, so we will be required, once we get to a point, we'll have to go back to a public hearing. a town meeting, town vote to get it to referendum. So it will be, and there has been articles in the past in the paper about it and stuff. So as we get closer and more towards that, we'll really start to ramp it up again.
I think my favorite thing I heard was when you get more than like, they're forecasting more than like 9 inches of snow, you can't have the trucks in the garage, cause it's like,
Well, the roof load is,
right,
yeah.
it's like, that shouldn't be enough to
More than what, 60-mile-an-hour wind?
Yeah. Basically.
60, 40?
Well, so it is not, we are not comfortable at a hurricane strength, right? Sustained hurricane force wind, so 70 miles an hour, we actually exit the building.
Which I believe by code for category 4, we usually account for 135 mile per
Yeah,
hour.
so that's where we are right now. We're at a 125 or 135
Yeah.
right here in East
Something like
Adam.
that. Wow.
Yeah. So,
The other fire station Eric and I are working on right now, it's got the same limitations.
Yeah.
They actually, I think they just implemented an ordinance that they have to vacate the building if the winds are over 75, 80 miles.
yeah.
We've
done
done this
it.
for a long time.
Yeah, it's
I
been
mean, there was a
years
point
now.
before we put the restructuring to help support it, that when the wind blew, we couldn't shut the doors because it would kind of,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
and the doors would get jammed.
So we spent about $19,000 to actually put reinforcement on the building now, cabled it and to keep it
standing.
standing.
Obviously, it's going back in the same place. You're moving the trucks out temporarily to
We're
DPW,
gonna-
right?
Public Works is gonna move all their stuff outside and park the trucks inside, most likely during the winter months. If it's not during the winter months, it's not so important, but
As I worry about more theft and.
Yeah.
Say just security, right?
freezing, so.
Yep. So we've also had a couple offers from people that have large
Shops,
garages
whatever.
and shops in town that are willing to offer up space and rent space at a cost, but it may be an option to look at. So, yeah. It would be beneficial to us if the work did happen spring, summer, fall versus through the winter, for sure. Any other new business? Hmm? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Kevin, Ed? All, so moved. David, have a good night.
You part of the golf tournament?
Yeah.
Nice. They had reached out to us about